Let me go ahead and get this show started. Let me do this time. I want to make sure I'm on time. I'm on time today. This lovely morning. I'm on time this lovely morning. Let me get this countdown started. All right. Good morning. Wow. I would say good morning, my neighbors. But good morning to y'all. We are back with another video, and I want to say I am so happy to be back. We definitely gonna go back live later on today, but I definitely want to get into my political talk right now. When it comes to it, I did watch the State of the Union address. Let me tell you, I had to watch it again, and I want to be honest. Okay, can I be honest? Can I be honest? I watched the State of the Union address, and I kind of fell asleep. Okay, I fell asleep, and I was watching the State of the Union address, and I fell asleep because he was putting me to sleep. I don't know what it comes with President Biden, but when he start talking, I get sleepy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it's like every time he do like a press conference or is he answering a question or him coughing in his hand. I just get sleepy. Like I was so awake. I had my notebook and I had my pen and I was like, was gonna take notes. I was gonna go live afterwards, but I went to sleep. So I had to rewatch it because I was getting texts from people. I was like, did you hear the crap that Biden is saying in his State of the Union address? I'm like, what? Did he cancel student loan debt? What happened? So I went and we watched it, and one part that stood out to me that I'm like, you have literally put the Democrats to lose in a midterm election when this man said, we don't want to defund the police. We want to fund the police. And I'm like, why in the world would you say, okay, fundamental research? Why would you even say to speak against defund the police when 80 to 90% of your base, which is black voters, agree that the police should be defunded and funds should be reallocated from the police department to mental health and all of this? Because if you look at New York having billions of dollars in police resources, look at Chicago, billions of dollars in resources, and the crime is not going down. So when he said that, I immediately was like, why are you saying this stuff? Like, shouldn't you be saying, I would literally been impressed by Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, if this man said, hey, we're going to cancel student loan debt. We're going to, as executive order, I'm going to cancel student loan. I'm going to announce tonight, we're going to cancel student loan debt. This announcement of law is going to bring millions of people that are struggling to keep up with the payments out of poverty. We're just going to cancel student loan debt. You have to speak to your base. And that's something that I admire about Republicans. Despite the stuff that they be talking about, I'm not really with, you know what I'm saying? But they really speak to their base when it comes to this whole thing of critical race theory. They would make laws to make critical race theory to be taught in public schools illegal, even though critical race theory wasn't even really taught in public schools or elementary schools or something like that. But they will put it on the ballot and the people will vote. Like they will speak to their base. And Democrats have a major problem speaking to their base. And when I took it to that base, black folks voted Biden in. If black folks would have stayed at home, stayed on the couch, he would not be the president. Actually, President President um, Trump would have been reelected back in office if black folks would have stayed at home. It was black women, it was black men, it was Latino, it was young, some young white voters who came in and really voted Biden in. But let's be clear, when Biden was running for president, even when he was in the primaries, you literally saw that Biden wasn't really even winning in the primaries like that. Like this man was losing in the primaries. Like the man was losing. And then when South Carolina and all these black states, the predominantly black voters, they voted him in, and then everybody else kind of like followed the lead. But it was literally black voters that said, hey, we're going to vote this man in office. But I want to get back to the State of the Union address. I mean, I agree with infrastructure. I think infrastructure, the American Rescue Plan, it does help African Americans get into the workforce, stuff like that. I agree. But it's a couple of things that I wish that he would have spoke to. Expunging people records that having marijuana, making marijuana legal, announcing that, hey, I'm gonna propose a bill to decriminalize marijuana, to actually make marijuana legal. Let's bring this to work. That would have helped his base. I think him announcing counseling student loan debt would have helped his base. Him saying, hey, we're going to reallocate some funding from the police to mental health services to actually help people get in therapy and all that. That would help the base. Let's be clear. Having insulin, $35, help a lot of African-American people that have diabetes, that have to pay for insulin, have to pay these high prices. That do help African-Americans. But when he spent at least maybe one sentence on the voters' rights, I was kind of pissed. I'm like, you could have spent at least a paragraph. You could have gave us a paragraph on the importance of protecting voters' rights. If you look at Texas, they just voted, and a lot of people couldn't even vote by mail. It was just terrible. The way that the laws that happened, really couldn't even vote by mail like that. So it was some issues that came up. So it's a couple of things that I wish that he would have brought up as the president. I personally would have believed that, because he said something in his speech when he got elected. Oh, African American people, y'all haven't forgot about me. When I get in office, I will not forget about you. But when he get into this position of power and you're there and you can help African American people, why are we not having something on the agenda where you are targeting African American people, where you are saying that this is for my folks that got me in office? He did not do that. I mean, counsel student loan debt, that would help me as many other people that got student loan debt. Okay, would help. It's something else in the speech too that a lot of people need to be worried about. They got them. Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. Let me blow my nose right quick. All right, we back. One thing that I think a lot of people need to be worried about, because I was texting some friends that did this, they got them PPP loans, they got them loans on fraudulent loans. I was getting texts, I was texting some folks. I said, listen, you better be worried. I think you should return that money back, because I've known some people personally in my life that got fraudulent PPP loan, got 30, 40 some thousand, 50 some $1,000, and they don't have no business. They ain't got no payroll, no nothing. And I sent a text. I said, you better be very worried, because when they start coming out to people for these PPP fraudulent loans, who you think they're gonna come after first? Okay, they're gonna come after black folks. I said, maybe you should return it back. Person I talked to last night said they spent it all. Didn't give me $1. They spent all of it. They had got $45,000 and I'm in a PPP loan, and they had bought a new car, got some new clothes, new shoes. And I said, I think that you need to return all that stuff back to wherever you purchased that and return it back and say, hey, y'all made a mistake. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to take this. I didn't mean to take this loan. You need to go ahead. It was a mistake. I didn't mean to take it to 40 something $1,000. It was a mistake, because they are coming out there. And who you think they're gonna get first? Let me drink my coffee right quick. Okay. Who you think? I'm just being real. Who you think they gonna get first for taking out fraudulent PPP loans. Let's be real. Let's be real on that. You getting out that PPP loan stuff, they're gonna come after our people first. So if you were dumb enough to get that loan and spit it on, hey, that's you when you get locked up. I'm just be very clear on it, because when I heard that, I was checking the shade room comments. People was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm worried. I should have did it." And I'm like, they're gonna come after you with some prison time and restitution. That's going to be it. Now, if you're a first offender, maybe you can get away with paying some restitution and a little prison time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, because I'm not a prosecutor. But what I would tell you this, I was watching the State of Union address, and it's something that Democrats need to stop doing. Stop trying to get these moderate Republican voters on your side. They're not coming to Democrats. Stop trying to cater towards these Trump voters. They're not coming to vote for Democrats. That's not gonna happen. Stop trying to get these white voters that have left the Democrat Party a long time ago. Stop trying to cater to people that left you. Start catering to people that is with you. And let me break that down. Cater to the black men and women that vote for you in huge numbers. Cater towards them. And he should have done a good job bringing up the George Floyd Policing Act. Should have brought that up. He also should have made marijuana. He should have brought that up by decriminalizing marijuana on a federal level and making marijuana legal. That will help your base. And if it actually get passed, you will see a lot of stoners, a lot of people will smoke that weed and go and vote you back in office. Because this is what Democrats need to understand. The midterm election is coming up. I live right here in Texas. The Republicans, they are energized. The Republican base, the conservative base are energized. More Republicans here in Texas have voted more than Democrats. Democrats are not that energized. I'll talk to some Democrats here in Texas. They wasn't energized. They felt that the party forgotten about them. Nothing that they promised got. I talked to some black women. Only thing that they got from the deal was a promise of having the Supreme Court justice, which is a black woman being nominated to the Supreme Court, which they think is a great idea, but they also think it's a slap in the face when President Biden is announcing this pick by saying, she has been endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, in which the Fraternal Order of Police have definitely been out here not promoting police accountability. They have been out here saying, hey, we don't need you to fund the police. We actually need more money. So Cassandra Brown, hey, I mean, it's a good thing, but black people, we need tangible things, something that we can say, this man really care about us and really have given us something from the table. I think if you would have legalized, if you would have announced the announcement that you are going to do some executive orders about decriminalizing marijuana, and also a proposal to bill to Congress to make marijuana legal, that will help your base. We would, a lot of black voters, including myself, we're going to take at least about 3 or 4 busloads of black folks to the polls. Counseling student loan debt. I have been tweeting that forever. If you announce that, you will have people vote Democrats from across the ticket on. If that's on, if you're actually announcing that, a lot of folks that got student loan debt will want that. All right. I say that 100%, but I feel as though Biden did a terrible job when it came to speaking towards his base. He did not encourage his base. His base is really mad. A lot of black folks are mad when he said, I'm not talking about defunding the police. I'm talking about funding the police with resources. They're not even going to get to funding the police with training and resources. They're going to look at this man just literally just slapped us in the face, slapped all these activists in the face that's been out here knocking on doors, encouraging black voters to speak. Now, I've been listening to all shows. I've been watching Roland Martin show. I've been seeing my girl from Black Voters Matter. She was upset. Tamika Mallory. Just a lot of black folks that have been knocking on doors and really networking to get Democrats in office that they don't know how to utilize their power. And one thing about Republicans, despite you may think they're divided, but once they get control of power, when they do it with all these voter suppression laws and all of this plan, they plan for the long game and all of that, which will help them in the midterm. And I do predict that Democrats will lose maybe even both houses, the House and the Senate. If they don't get their mess together, they're going to lose both houses. And Republican going to take over and maybe even lose the next election for president if he don't handle this thing right with Ukraine, with inflation, with gas prices, because people don't care. They will vote Trump back in office. Let me be clear, as well as Republicans back in office. If these gas prices continue to go up, Republicans will get voted back in. Inflation will continue to rise, and grocery prices are high. They will vote these Republicans back in, and you can bank on this. They will definitely vote President Donald Trump back in office if we continue to have these issues in this country. So if the president don't do a good job getting the gas prices down, he would get voted out of office, as well as many Democrats will get voted out of office. So that's what I'm saying. They need to do a better job. And I think he needs to just say, hey, let me just counsel student on debt. Let me announce that. Let me let me also marijuana. Let's legalize that. And make that announcement that we will propose this bill to Congress and we'll make this a law that will help millions of people change their lives, and also expunging the record of people with a marijuana offenses. That would definitely help people. I'm just telling y'all, this will be great. But if Biden and them don't get their stuff together, they won't be in office long. Biden will not get a second term. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying Democrats don't get a second term. So I was watching all of this and I watched the speech. And again, it did put me to sleep. I don't know why it put me to sleep, but I was sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing I don't understand, that he announced that we're going to give billions of dollars to the Ukraine for they can fight. And I'm like, I understand what's going on in Ukraine. Oh my God, it's so bad. But what's going on in this country is bad as well. And it's been bad for a long time. Don't tell me that you don't have money for mental health services when you're giving $1 billion to another country. We are so quick to give billions to other country, and we don't want to invest in our homeland. We don't invest in our entire country. We don't invest in Americans. We don't invest in our systems and our infrastructure. But we're so quick to give other countries billions without a blink of an eye. I don't hear Republicans talking about, oh my God, what about our budget? Oh my God, what about what's going on with our budget? What about the cost? I don't hear Democrats talking about the cost, stuff like that, when they're giving to other people. But soon when it's talking about giving things to Black America or giving things to Americans, whatever helps Black people will also help America, will help the entire American, the USA. You don't hear them talking about the price. But when it's talking about putting money to our schools, making free college and university, that's when they talk about price. Oh my gosh, we can't afford it. But we can give billions to Ukraine. I don't have nothing against Ukraine, but also Ukraine is not for Black people. Let's be clear. Ukraine, the government, they have been very racist towards African immigrants that come over there to go to medical school, etc. They have been totally disrespectful towards African immigrants. So why should we as Black people care? Why should we care? And our own people in our homeland is being treated like second-class citizens. I'm just saying, they've been treated like second-class. They trying to get on the train and leave and all that, second-class citizens. Why can't, and this is something that will help Democrats. I just want to tell y'all that when y'all come in the building, press 1. When y'all coming in, because we will open up the phone lines. Now, I don't know everything, but I'm speaking for the Democrats, speaking as a Black man, speaking for Black people. I'm seeking for a Black man, and I'm seeking for Black people. If he would announce that it is time that we give reparations to African descendants in this country, give them reparations to right our wrong for slavery, that this country needs to right the wrong. If he would have made that announcement and also propose a bill and support the bills that's already in the pipeline to give Black people reparations, that will literally energize the black base. Though that would have the coverage of black media, the coverage of black civil rights organizations. I mean, black voters, the average voter that don't vote will definitely be interested. Like, did you hear that they trying to pass reparation? Did you hear what the president said about reparations? You would have literally made some history by announcing that and also proposing a bill to Congress. You would have made some. I mean, it would have been it would have been awesome, and it also would have gave Democrats something to run on that's struggling in their individual races in the midterm. So that would have definitely helped, in my humble opinion. If hey, so that's what I would say, in my humble opinion. All right, wow. That's what I would say. Give me a second. I don't know if I'm going to open up the phone lines, and then but I will open the phone lines because I know of a couple of people that actually want to call in here, and I definitely want to talk about this as well. Nicki Minaj. Shout out to Nicki. Shout out to Cardi. But Nicki Minaj is being used right now, and she's been used to sell tickets because they are struggling to sell out for Cardi B shows that she have for this Wireless Festival. The Wireless Festival organizers right now, they are saying, hey, if you get a ticket for a Cardi B night, for those night, you can use a ticket for Nicki Minaj night. Now, they ain't saying it in verbatim, but that's what they're saying. That they're utilizing the Queen, Nicki, to sell out tickets for Cardi B. This is embarrassing. This is really, really sad that now they're using the Queen prestige to say, hey, if y'all going to see Nicki, get it. Y'all can get a pass to see. You can also get a weekend pass to also see Nicki Minaj show. I mean, also see Nicki and Cardi. I'm like, what they do that at? What they do that at? I said they trying it, but hold on. I said they really, really trying it and it still didn't even sell out. We still didn't even get the prices for it to sell out for that. Now I talked to a couple of UK followers. They was like, Wiley, we're not impressed. It's every year the Wiley Festival is not really that big like that. That it's always sell out. So they're not really impressed. So I talked to a couple of UK followers, but I'm saying it's very impressive. I would say again for Queen Nicki. So I do want to announce right now. I want to announce right now. I am officially a barb. I do want to announce that. I don't know if I announced it right now. I'm officially a barb. Okay, it took me a while, but I'm officially a barb. All this week I have been, listening to Nicki Minaj stuff. I actually got some Nicki Minaj merchandise that I'm actually going to purchase for as a queen. But I'm a Nicki Minaj. I am a Nicki Minaj barb right now. It took me a while to get there, but
Your show now, press 1.
Your show is scheduled to start in 18 seconds.
But I am officially announcing that I am a barb, and it's been
Your
great.
show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's
Blog Talk
it's
Radio.
it's been great. Actually been listening to her music. So it's just been awesome. I have been listening to all of her interviews, and I'm just preparing to have that sit down interview with the Queen. And like I said, the Queen never come on my show. I'm gonna always be a barb and show her love and show support. So on my Twitter, definitely been tweeting the barb's page has been following a lot of bar pages. I've been posting the Queen on my Instagram. I am officially announcing that I am a barb, and I'm definitely not going to change my mind. I'm definitely a barb right now, and I can't wait to definitely see her in concert. So I can't see her in the UK because again, it's sold out. But when she do a tour in the United States, definitely when she comes to Texas, I'm definitely going to follow her and show her some love because I am definitely a Barb, and I wish her all the support. And I love her. And just like the song said, "The Night Is Still Young" is one of my favorite songs from her. Uh, uh, yes, okay, "The Night Is Still Young." It's one of my favorite songs from her. But yeah, I am a Barb, and I am supporting her. So we're gonna go to the phone lines, and we're gonna talk about it. And we got anybody that's in here that want to speak about this State of the Union address. The number is 646-716-8447. 646-716-8447. If the queen want to call in, she's more than welcome to call in. The number is 646-716-8447. Okay, good morning, 8018. You're live on the air.
Wiley, this is your moderator, D Vlog. You know I love you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop fucking lying. You are not a damn Barb.
I
Why are
am-
you lying early? Come on, Wiley.
I'm
You're trying to trigger the chat.
No.
Barb, don't listen to him. We love you over here. We are not. Don't let Wiley trigger y'all.
I am
Please
officially a Barb right now. I have been.
You are a liar.
I'm officially.
You a liar. Every opportunity you get, you flip flop on Nicki.
Listen,
Stop it.
I changed it. Listen, I am officially a Barb. I love her. I was just watching, and it's gonna make me tear up. I was just watching her come up DVDs.
Oh my
and stuff like that. I said this woman always knew that she was gonna be successful. Even when they asked her and say, "Oh, you're gonna be the new Lil Kim," and she also sang praises to Lil Kim. I didn't even notice that. And she said, "Listen, I'm going to I pay homage towards her, but I'm actually want people to see me for what I have to do in this business." And she done it. Like, people don't know how iconic Nicki Minaj is. She have ushered in Sweetie, Doja Cat.
Not knowing we've been supporting her.
I'm just saying. I'm just looking for people. So the people that
know she paid homage to Nicki.
I'm just saying to all the people that is not a fan, like she have ushered in, and a lot of female MCs, like she have ushered in a generation. And people don't give her credit. Like literally, female rap was dead for after Kim went away. And Nicki came in, and her success birthed all of these women. Doja Cat, Dream Doll, my girl out there out of Chicago. So many of these female MCs. Megan Thee Stallion. What's the girl that just came out with a new song, got 1 million views? Amaretta. I hope I'm saying her name right. Amaretta the Great, out there out of Atlanta. We have to just give credit to whom credit is due when it comes to these female MCs, and also we have to give credit to what's the other lady I love and I support her music. She have been doing it. She's an amazing actress. Didn't really do good in rap. Remy Ma. She have birth. Even her. People was running. Excuse me. What was that?
I said we.
Oh, you said we?
No, you need to do all this. We already knew.
I'm talking about the people that did not know of the success of Nicki. I'm just breaking it down. People that know, but I'm officially announcing right now. I want to say, just a shout out to Nicki and being officially a Barb. It have been really good walking down, being officially a Barb. I was walking down the street and I told this lady. She was grocery shopping. I said, I'm a Barb, right? And she thought I was crazy. I am literally officially a Barb, and I actually love it. I can't wait to wear like my pink colors and my Barbie attire that I purchased. I am officially a Barb, and I love Nicki Minaj.
Shantae posted trigger warning. Please, we're going to be posting this every time you talk about Nicki because I think it's a success. I personally don't think that you are a Barb. I think that you faking it? I don't know what your game plan is. You have not told your moderators.
No,
you got something up your sleeve.
It takes time, and we definitely will be going on a whole press tour for Nicki. We definitely we're gonna go on a whole press tour to announce this. I announced it to y'all first that I'm officially at Barb. You know, yesterday I've been on the phone with Barb headquarters, with people that run the top bar pages, you know, in the world.
I'm done. And you're lying.
And I told him, I said the success of Nicki is definitely have really encouraged me to make this announcement. And a lot of people are saying, you know, Wiley, thank you for coming on Nicki Minaj's side. This is wonderful. Welcome to the winning team. And I feel like a winner announcing that. I really do. I ate me some big breakfast this morning, and I was playing her song that she did with August Alsina, and I was literally just jamming, eating, you know, my toast, bacon, and eggs, and some pancakes. And I was really just enjoying listening to Nicki. I can't wait to her Joe Budden interview. Whatever she does, I'm definitely a fan of her beautiful family. She have an awesome her marriage. I speak honor to her marriage, to her husband, and to her family. And yes, I'm definitely proud to be part of Nicki Minaj's team.
Wiley, I'm about to hang up, but you are really full of it. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you got planned. But trigger warning, Barbs. Barbs, call in. Call in, Barbs. We love you over here.
We love the Barbs.
The moderators. No, the moderators, okay? Don't take it out on us, what Wiley says. Wiley is Wiley. We moderate for him. Bye, Wiley.
Bye-bye. We love the Barbs. Thank you so very much. I want to say I just love, you know, the Barbs for y'all support. I definitely want to give a special shout out to all of the top Barb pages, Nicki Minaj team, street team. I've been following them and playing the music. I definitely want to say it's an honor to be speaking to so many Barbs today. I definitely want to give a special shout out to my good sis Ebony for Black Tea Blog, and I feel as though that people are coming at her, and she's just so beautiful. And I'm so happy that I can just go on her page and see a lot of Nicki Minaj material. But I'm extremely excited to be on this side, and I definitely want to give a special, first of all, I want to say shout out to my mommy. Also, I want to give a special shout out to my cousin Tank for many years of playing Nicki Minaj in his house and me listening to Nicki Minaj. Also, I want to give a special shout out to one of my moderators when I went to Atlanta. She was playing Nicki Minaj material, her mixtape, beating up Scotty. So I definitely want to say special shout out today for playing Nicki Minaj material, and so I want to say shout out to that. Do it mean that I am anti Cardi B? No, I am a fan of Nicki Minaj, of that, but we do have to give honor to the Queen. Okay, all right. I have to just make that disclaimer. We're gonna go to the phone lines. All right. 6268. Good morning.
Hello, Wiley.
Hi.
That was mad funny. Your moderator threw you all the way under the bus, exposed all of your behind.
Well, I didn't say that. You know, when you come out as being a bar, it will be resistance, because for a long time I was on the Barty Gang plantation, and I said Barty Gang is the queen, and I said it for a long time. So it's going to be a while for a lot of the veteran barbs. You know, I'm like a new, I'm a virgin barb. You know, I have, my hymen have not been broken. So I'm just a new virgin barb. And so a lot of
you sound like your president you vote for. You only use people when you need them.
I know I'm not using. So a lot of the veteran barbs, they gotta feel me. You know what I'm saying? So we will be going on an international press tour. Speaking to all the top bar pages, and we definitely will be making a presence over there.
Thank you for listening to Sleepy Joe, because I certainly wouldn't listen to that thing. Okay, that's number one, first and foremost. Secondly, as Black Americans, we have to stop begging You know, our ancestors and descendants that's already died for our civil rights. We march for affirmative action. We march for fair housing. You know, let me explain something to people out there. When you got these immigrants that come from their other country, they build their own world right in the United States. They have their own restaurants, their own stores to go to. They buy their own food. They do not mingle or socialize with American economic economy. They just really don't, unless they buying something designer. We have to stop begging.
Well,
Okay?
I hold on one second.
I
I don't think that it's begging. I think that we are calling out our politicians and say, "Hey, we deserve we deserve because because they beg for our vote." So if our people is out there saying, "Hey, we want." One second. If our people is out here saying that we want reparations, we want reparations. If our people is out there saying make sure that we cancel student loan debt, we out there saying we want to cancel student loan debt because these same people, the President Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, as many of these people, hold on one second, many of these people that go in our neighborhoods that want our votes, we saying we want something tangible that we can feel off the table.
Reparations is by suing. We have to sue Facebook for altering, muting us, taking away our freedom of speech. We have to sue the Black Lives Matter for collecting all our money, not giving it to the ghetto. We got to sue the NAACP for allowing our children in the ghetto to not get that United Negro College fund. We got to sue the Red Cross. That's how we gonna get our reparations.
I'm just saying to President Biden, the message that the black people that I'm speaking to, boots on the ground, that stayed home, that did not vote in Texas, is because they saying, hey, we didn't get nothing from the table. We were promised all of this stuff and we didn't get nothing from the table. So you know what we're going to do? Stay on our couches, stay in our homes, and not go out and vote. They're not voting because they're not getting something from the table. We want something from the table because the same people that come out here and tap on our doors and say, come on, brothers and sisters, vote us in office because we are Democrats, we are better than the Republicans. Black people are waking up and saying, hey, we're not going to be used again. And so when it comes to these midterm elections, this is going to be another sign, and the Democrats always fail, even President Obama failed about this. They're not doing enough giving us a piece of the pie. And black people said, hey, we want a piece of the pie, and we're not going out and vote in the midterm election.
Stop it. Our descendants died for our rights. We have to just sue. The law books is already on the book.
Well, the people are suing, but we also want something from Congress, tangible reparations. We also want counseling student loan debt, and we also want marijuana update. Let's be very clear. Let's give a clear. Okay, let's be clear. The candidate and that's running here in Texas that won the Democratic ticket for governor, Beto, I believe that's his name. He was running on and said, hey, I'm going to make marijuana legal to smoke it legally. To smoke it. Hold on one second. To smoke it legally in Texas. And I had a lot of people, they were like, this is good. This is good for his campaign. And that's why that was one of the big reasons why he won the Democratic ticket to go against our governor that's here in Texas. So
about this marijuana. Let me tell you something. The only people that need to be illegally to be responsible to be selling this marijuana is the gang members and the drug cartels. Why? Because they have been locked up and killed while the federal government gave rich people in the United States that was privileged federal money to grow it on their property for our children to bring it off the state. All of the marijuana in the United States need to be destroyed, and the cartels and the gang members need to be responsible so they could build up economic economies in poor countries so the poor countries can stop starving. This stealing of this marijuana, it was never created for a rich to get richer. It was created to build an economic economy for this day of revelation while poor countries are starving.
Well, again,
sue for the right.
Okay, I want to say for this, you know, why I feel like in that bill when they decriminalize marijuana and say, hey, let's put this in a bill and say if you have that on your record, we will expunge it on your record. Number one. Number two, they should also put in a bill to say, hey, African Americans, we should get make it easier for them to become owners of dispensaries, because for a long time in Illinois, they were having this issue that even though it's legal in Illinois, but a lot of African Americans wasn't feeling the blessings of getting those licenses. So what I propose that they also get that as well. To our Congress, they did a good job by passing the Emmett Till lynching bill, which would fail in the Senate. Now we need it to also pass in the Senate. But to our president, it's power in his words. I feel as though that he should have used that to talk about reparations. He should have used that to talk about passing to say, hey, I'm gonna propose a bill to decriminalize marijuana and also to make it legal in this country. Because let's be clear. Let's be clear. A lot of Americans smoke weed, whether it's illegal or legal. A lot of people, and it's it's some benefits of weed. You know, it's benefits of CBD. It's benefits of that. And
it can build the economic economy in these third world countries, and it can stop.
I understand that about those countries, but it's a lot. It's a lot of poor people here in America, and I feel as that if they do that and all of that tax benefit money to put towards our infrastructure, our schools, marijuana health services, drug treatment programs, and so much.
We got to stop begging.
Again, I'm requesting you. I'm not begging. What I am saying is that these Democrats beg for our votes. So if black people is out there want to beg for them to do for us, then let them beg. I'm saying, hey, I'm crying out to these Democratic people to say, hey, stop trying to cater towards these white folks that have left Democrats a long time, even though some younger white people vote typically for Democrat. I'm talking about these voters that have voted Republican and that's Trump voters. Stop trying to cater towards that base and be focused on the base that voted you in, which is black and brown people, period. All right.
Well, thank you for the time, Mr. Wiley, and like King say, period.
Thank you for the time for calling in. Okay. The number is 646-716-8447. The number is 646-716-8447. The number is 646-716-8447. Do want to give a special shout out to all of my new bar brothers and sisters that I have found out on Twitter that have been sending me tweets all over Twitter. I do want to say thank you to the people that were upset and feel as though that I portrayed Barty Gang. I did not portray Barty Gang. I feel as though due to her fraudulent lawsuit with Tasha K, I have to leave the Barty Gang organization because I feel as though the fraudulent lawsuit that she brought against Tasha K, I have to leave it and I must join a person like Nicki Minaj. So I did want to say special shout out to all of the Nicki Minaj fans, and also special shout out to some of her members of her staff for reaching out to us as well. I definitely want to say a special shout out to them too. Okay, but we do have the phone lines open up. When it comes to we do have the phone lines open up. Let's go to the phone lines. 9867. Good morning.
Hey. Good morning. Hello, Wiley. Hey, Wiley and Chad. This is the voice of New York. How you doing, Wiley?
I'm doing wonderful.
You're getting hustle when it comes to now trying to be a Nicki Minaj fan. Do you know of any of her old mixtape things?
Well, for me, I'm not. For me, I was just talking with a friend of mine that was a fan of her MySpace days, mixtape days. I was not so-called a fan of her mixtape days, but I'm a huge fan of her mainstream success, her albums. I am one of the people right here that would say when she released an album, I always buy a couple of copies to give away to some people that typically can't afford her music. But I will also say to people that's out here, to the Nicki Minaj people that's out here, that we are still here. We are still supporting the queen. When it comes to her album sales, when she released an album, we was there buying it. I remember when she released Queen, we were one of the ones that bought at least a couple of copies, and it also went platinum. Not saying that it was because of my album sales that made it go platinum, but we did help her get to that platinum success because I was a part of that movement. So I typically have always been a supporter of Nicki, but I'm officially announcing that I'm a Barb. This is the first time out of my 31 years of living that I'm announcing I'm officially a Barb. But go ahead, Voice of New York.
Okay. So that means you don't know like her throwback song because we all grew up with mixtape Nicki. So I feel
Well,
like
you
her
in New
mixtape
York,
days.
so you probably had access of that wave or for a mixtape wave.
But no, but she came up long before. Like she came up with, I don't know. So like let me see. I don't know what's your favorite mixtape, but I feel like going back to a mixtape, you see how incredible she was. But she got even more popular during my collegiate years, right? When she had the two-tone hairstyle, whatever. So I thought maybe you was gonna spit.
Well, I did like the mixtape because shout out to Day out in Atlanta, when she was driving around Atlanta and she was playing a Beat Me Up Scotty mixtape, and I enjoyed it, even though I knew some of the songs already on that mixtape. I knew like the songs that she had on there, so I'm like, this is amazing, and it actually sold 80 to 90,000 copies within the first week. That's a 10-year-old mixtape, so that just show you another success of Nicki Minaj and stuff like that. But I did listen to that mixtape. I'm a fan of that mixtape. But if you have other mixtapes that I should definitely listen to, I'm all the way down to listen to those mixtapes.
Yes, I definitely will. I wonder if I rap like 2 or 3 lines, would the chat know this song? So, let me do it real quickly because I want to see if the fans truly are Nicki fans. Because this one is like pretty popular, but it's not as popular. You may heard it too. It's like, listen, I'm gonna spit on it, then I'm gonna sit on it. You can ask my girls too, daddy. I'm gonna condone it. I'm gonna put my lips on your lips, who's fatter? Boy, you could ask Michael Jack, who's better. If anyone knows where's that snippet from, then let me know in the chat because I feel like those who are Nicki Minaj fans will know that song. Because I was like super overrated, if anything. But yeah, I'm a Nicki fan. I agree with you though, Wiley, in regards to Cardi B not being a superstar. We all know this. It's the fact that y'all girls came late to the party. Now, don't get me wrong. I do critique Nicki when Nicki is wrong, right? Like, I don't like her relationship with Zoo. I don't like how she trying to go after Jennifer or whatever case may be. You can love the work of the person and still critique them at the same time. If I don't like some of her releases, I'm going to say she could do better. And that's because the people who've been with her during her freestyle days know the work that she can do in her creativity. So I hate when she feels like she's blocked or she doesn't have it there. Now, I would say I wish she had a tour in New York because I feel like I need to see her perform once in my life before she kind of like retire whenever that happens. But do y'all really think that Cardi was gonna outsell Nicki with tickets? Like, come on, Nicki got one of the most strongest fan base ever. Like, she could do no wrong.
I was shout out to Neighborhood Talk. They said who fans have been riding with their artists the most vocal, and we have to give that to the Barbs. They are on the level of the Beehive. The Beehive legendarily have been known of being a supporter of Beyonce and make it be known that they support Beyonce. And it's a lot of Beyonce pages, fan pages. And what comes close to that is Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj fans are just as vocal as Beyonce fans. When she released an album, you have listening parties, you have Twitter pages, you have TikTok people, you have YouTubers now that support her a lot. For Cardi B to come from the celebrity gossip world, come from that generation, her fans are not as strong enough as the Nicki Minaj fans. They are very, very savvy on supporting their queen.
But it's kind of disrespectful when people, try to compare Nicki to Cardi or Cardi to Nicki. Like, if I was Nicki, I would feel offended because this person is not in my league in anything of that nature. And let's be honest, like the days that Cardi B has grown, social media presence was honestly something that is very useful for her career. And she only dropped one album. She drops music like every 2 years. Shorty's like Normani. Okay, the fact is that Cardi B is more out there with the fashion and she's doing other deals. But technically, that's what Normani did. Normani dropped a single and where's she at? And before that, it was Motivation, where's she at? So if I was Nicki, I was like, how do you have the unmitigated gall to compare me to a snot-nosed chick who got no talent and then thinking that I'm hating on her? I'm not hating on what she, what she accomplished. What I'm hating is that you think that her success and my success are equal, where I actually got it from the mud and she didn't. She's a microwave virgin.
Well, again,
so that's where I feel like Nicki fails, right?
Like, I agree.
It's kind of like Nicki's in her own lane.
I agree, but Cardi B comes from a machine, and very wise of them to say, hey, let's utilize this beef, because let's be clear, when you beefing, when you got Tupac versus Biggie, what do you have? Album sales increase, you have ratings increase. There's no different than this whole thing with Nicki and Cardi. So her label done a great job putting her in the conversation of being the top star, being compared to being better than Nicki Minaj. They are pushing that narrative. Then you have radio DJs like, who's the best, Cardi or Nicki? Whose side are you on? I think Cardi is more relevant than Nicki. So it drives that conversation, and it drive that. But let's be clear, Cardi B only had 4 years in the game. Nicki had 14 years, but it's no different when Nicki came on the scene and people were comparing her to Lil Kim, and they was like, oh, she sit down. Lil Kim is who I rock with. Lil Kim had diehard fans back in the day, didn't want to receive a Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj had to really, really work to gain the respect of these these Lil Kim fans, and that's how she got into the business. And people were comparing them two together. So there's no difference.
But you know how she revitalized her image when it comes. What she did differently compared to Lil Kim is she had the personalities with different voices. I feel like out of all the rappers, no one was doing that, right? She got the Martha, she got the Roman, and she makes you want to be in the character with her. And she also able to change up her flow within the beat. So I like it. I like when I hear a Roman. I like when I hear a Martha, which is her British. I like when she talks on her sleeve thing. She has multiple personalities that other rappers are not bringing to the table. So that was something unique that we haven't seen. She also says, she's going to sign on your boobs, right? So back in the day, she had the whole world. When you go see her, she's going to sign Nicki Minaj on your boobs. A lot of people weren't doing that type of thing that she was doing. And she was really good in freestyling. Lil Kim, I'm not sure if Lil Kim's a freestyle person, but Nicki was freestyling on those hot beats, right? The freestyle was saying earlier that was from Doing It Well or Doing It Well with LL Cool J. That she had the Gucci Mane behind her. And then, I feel like she had no choice because she was around a lot of men. So we get to really see her chops and how she does things.
Well, Kim also was around a lot of men as well. It was a man dominated world. As well as we should give Kim her flowers, or when she made it fashionable to be a female rock, sexy to do this. You know what I'm saying? You ain't have to be so manly looking, if that makes sense. And Nicki Minaj made it seem like you could be a mega star. You could do pop. You could do so much other than hip hop. Nicki was one of the well, even though Kim tapped into doing pop a little bit because she did win a Grammy because of that. Let's not deny that. But Nicki, on a year after year basis, said, hey, you could become a mega star. You can get into pop. And I think Doja Cat is one of the ones trying to bait Nicki Minaj's style because of that, because she saw that success of Nicki Minaj getting into pop, Nicki Minaj doing the singing. And that's why you see Doja Cat doing the same exact thing. You look at, see what works, and you put your own spin to it. And Nicki Minaj have to get her flowers because of that. Nicki Minaj was the one, she birthed in a new generation of talent, and she's still relevant. You just can't say, well, she just birthed in these women, now she's sitting down, she ain't selling no more. This woman is still selling. This woman is still relevant when it comes to female MCs. You still have to discuss Nicki. It's like when you discuss Kim, the conversation is, what did she do for it? But you're not really discussing her as being relevant when it comes to music. You know what I'm saying? She's not on the charts anymore. But Nicki, out 14 years in the game, still on the charts, still selling out major shows, not clubs. That's something to be proud of if you're a Nicki Minaj fan. And Nicki have to also be proud of that as well.
And she is. That's what she does. That's why she's cocky the way she is cocky, right? I mean, and you're right about Doja. Doja does take elements of Nicki where her voice changes. But what I like about Doja is that she touched the genre of music, right? She has rock. She also produces, and she also makes her own beat, and she's very quirky. So there are certain things that I don't see. I wish Nicki has touched that envelope as well. But Doja does have a vision, and she's very, not weird, but you could tell she's like a nerd, like a black nerd, or very counterculture to what we think it is. So that's why I like Doja, and she could also dance too. But let me get into the State of the Union address. Wally, I agree with everything that you stated. I know the previous caller was like, we need to talk about Black Lives Matter, we need to talk about NWCP and all that, which is fine. But that still doesn't excuse America for owning Black Americans, their due diligence, and making sure they are successful and equally financially savvy than every other immigrant or other groups that have been through trauma. The Jews got their stuff, the Italians got their stuff. You know, people are able to take advantage of different things. You know, the Chinese or Koreans are able to come here, get certain loans that other Black Americans are unable to get and still live in safe communities. That's like giving an excuse to America for the mistreatment of what they've done over the years. They need to pay up for that. There's no amount of years that there's no other Black organization that should be responsible besides America's systematic racism and politics. There's a reason why we're still not in a position that we need to be in to be fruitful anyway, right? Even now, we can talk about the housing market. Yeah, we're in a seller's market, but most appraisers are white appraisers. So when you have your house and you're a Black family and you want to get generational wealth and you have a white appraiser, they're going to tell you your house is not worth what it is. Isn't that why there's a couple in California that's suing because of discrimination, because the appraiser decided to lowball their house from what it was worth. And she said it was worth like maybe like $500,000-$600,000, but it was worth over 1.2 million. Like, get out of here. So I think we need to first make sure that us as Black people are at the same financial standpoint as every other which we're not. What would that require, right? It will require eradicating student loan debt, because most of the time, a lot of Black American women or Black people in general are in school. Because we came from disadvantaged communities, we ain't got no choice. Unless you are an Insta person or you have that Jenna Say quote, look, I know my talents will stand where it is, but education is the only way out of poverty if you know what you want to do. I feel like eradicating student loan debt will definitely push Black Americans and their economic stability, for sure. That's why they don't want to do that. It's not like they can't. They don't want to. Because if they do it, it will kind of like level the even playing field so that we can be successful in what we need to do. Because we are dominating in a lot of sectors. When you mentioned about the expungement of the marijuana, that's big. That's big. Because back in the days, people were going for nickel and dime. And then to see that I'm in jail and I went to jail for X amount of years, and we all know when you are trying to re-enter back in society as a felon, especially as a Black felon, there's a lot of things that you can't do no more. Then a lady just got popped for trying to vote, and she wasn't able to vote, and they wanted to put her back in jail. She was on parole, or she forgot she was on parole. Like, they're more harsher on people who want to reintegrate back to society and not be able to like get into a business and what puts you in jail the first place. It's kind of disrespectful. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I was in jail for marijuana. Now marijuana is legal in certain places, but my record is still there, which prevent me to get into the weed business, and then white people capitalizing on it. That to me, that's injustice. So I do agree with that. And also the voters. So Wiley, as we always discuss, and I know you agree with this too, we're not going to win. We're just not. Because what Biden said about, I don't want to defund the police, that was a slap in the face of all the other hardships that Black Americans or all Black people in general, right? I'm going to start saying Black Americans. Well, Black people have experienced with the George Floyd thing before that, like the police brutality. It shows that you're on the Blue Lives Matter side. What he should have said is, yes, we're going to fund and defund the police at the same time. There are certain ways we're going to reroute the way we are training police officers to defund things that we find not useful. And we're going to take it a different approach when it comes to training our police officers to be more, racially sound, to be more culturally aware. And more importantly, we will have like a pipeline program in which those from the community will likely police officers to police their own area, or maybe have more mental health services for police officers. If he had said stuff like that, that would have made sense, because you're not defunding, but you're rerouting how the
he could have the messaging for Democrats suck. What he could have said is reallocate funding, I agree, into other avenues, to mental health, and to our education, and to programs that are designed to bring down crime. You do have organizations like Ceasefire. You have organizations that have boots on the ground that can help with that as well. Having money, putting billions of dollars towards, let's be clear, community centers to help for kids can go to up to about 8 or 9 o'clock and have programs on the weekend to invest in job training programs for teenagers to get them off the streets. He could have said that. But it was a major slap in the face because, again, it's all about messaging. And if you want black people to come out and vote, they're going to need something so they can tell other black folks, did you hear what Biden said? Did you hear what he said about reparations? Did you hear what he said about making marijuana legal and expunging the records? That would send shockwaves. And you would have black people that will come out in big numbers in the midterm elections. But if you keep trying to play it safe, keep trying to cater towards Republican voters, because Biden is still old school. He's an old guy. He's still old school. They still got this old, outdated mentality that if we cater towards Republican voters, they will vote for Democrats. And that idea never happened. I don't care how you try to see, you talk about fund to put, that's not going to make a Trump voter vote for you. What he must do and what Democrats must do is cater towards their base. Their backbone is black women, black men, young white voters, millennial voters. You need to cater towards that base. And if you don't cater towards that base, you're going to lose them in the midterm and you're going to lose them in the general. And then you're going to be outside talking about how do we lose this? And I also say to a lot of these white consultants, you need more black consultants. Let's be clear, that know how to speak to black voters. You know what I'm saying? They need more of that because these white consultants, some of them don't understand the power of the black vote. They only think of the black vote when it comes to the general election, but they neglect the black vote when it comes to the midterm election. And they need to do a better job focusing on that in all elections, because that is how you're going to change the game. And if they don't do it, you're going to keep losing. And the Republicans going to keep winning. It's nowhere in the world that Biden should not have a paragraph or two about the power of protecting voters' rights, because it's under attack in many states that are run by Republicans. And Democrats must tackle that issue. And Biden did not really speak on voters' rights. Maybe he even gave it a sentence in the speech, but I think I needed at least a paragraph about why is it importance of, and it's not even attacking black people to vote. It's attacking all white folks that hard for them to get IDs that want to vote by mail. It's not just attacking the black people from voting. It's also attacking people that's in colleges and universities that live in rural areas that really can't really get an ID. So I think they must attack those issues, in my humble opinion.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And voter rights suppression has always been a thing. We know the main parts of the country, especially in the middle of America, is mostly Republicans in rural areas, right? Look at the map. Most of the centralized Republicans are in the middle, while the more heavy Democrats are on like the coast, like California, New York, all those East Coast and stuff, and West Coast. With that said, I don't think Biden cares. Remember, Biden is kind of like, to me, a very racist person from back in the days that hide his racism to get it to where he needs to go to. I'm surprised he's even Democrat. He shouldn't be Democrat. Because
let's be clear. President Johnson said the N-word, and they said he was a racist. But look, he still passed the voters' rights bill. I don't care if you is a racist. Long as you're passing, expunging the record of marijuana, making that legal. Because let's be clear, when Johnson passed the voters' right, when they passed that, he said these N-words are going to be voting for voting Democrats for the next 50 years. But he still passed some good stuff that as African Americans, that we benefit from the Johnson administration. But he was still a racist president. Let's be clear on that. But so I think that you can still, I would say Biden, let's just say point of argument that he is racist. But he still, if you want to stay in power, you must cater towards your base, which is black people, black and brown people. Because it's a lot of racist people in office.
I want to know, like, why is he not doing what he says he's going to do? Like, what is the issue?
Because he keeps trying.
Like, he understands the Congress. But there's ways to like filibuster certain things, right? I feel like we need to do what Republicans do. You can't when you're in a war thing, you can't care about the other people's feelings, right? Like you mentioned about how us giving $1 billion to Ukraine. And I agree with you. Why are we giving $1 billion to Ukraine? Unless America has a financial interest in that country. But did they do anything when it came to Haiti and the displacement of their Haitian president? No, they did not. Like, and even how they treat other people at the borders. Do they care? No, they do not. But those resources, we're already in debt. So why are we giving out money that we don't have to a country that's not even NATO?
Right.
The country is not NATO. And let's be honest, like, they got played by America. Zelensky got played by America and NATO. That's what they're in their position right now. But go ahead, Wiley. You were saying.
No. I agree. And they're giving money. It's too late when the country's been overthrown. You just throwing money. It's just like, okay, you already got a busted pipe, so let me just wrap some duct tape around it. You need to fix the pipe, but it's too late to fix the pipe unless you're willing to go to war. But you see how quick they're willing to give money to other countries, and then when it's come for black people, when it comes for reparations, we can't afford that. When we come
we
to
can't afford it, right?
when we come to free college and university, oh my gosh, we can't afford that. That's too expensive. But we give $1 billion without blinking an eye. We can give $1 billion to another country that we even said we was going to protect them once they give up their nuclear weapons, and didn't do it by bringing boots on the ground. Because let's be clear, the president of Ukraine, he actually want troops on the ground. Technically, he wants troops on the ground, and he's not getting that. He want to be in the European Union, and they're not even allowing him to be a part of that. So he just been screwed all over. You know what I'm saying? And they're just.
But I feel like he was bamboozled by the U.S. and NATO. Why would he think that Putin will allow that to happen if when Russia was trying to go for Cuba during the Crystal Missile site crisis, America didn't want Russia to mess with Cuba, right? And they was like, okay, I'm not going to do that, and that's in your backyard. But now, if you see around like how many countries around Russia and Ukraine are NATO countries, he's like, wait up a minute, like y'all doing a little bit too much. Ukraine should just stay neutral. Just stay neutral.
Unfortunately, I agree. I agree. I think that Ukraine, and another thing, they should have invested in their military. They should have done a better job investing into their military. Let's be clear on that. That's another thing. They shouldn't have been so behind in their military infrastructure. They should have done a better job with that. And I agree. You should have stayed neutral. And they should have listened to President Mitt Romney. I'm not President Mitt Romney. Okay, that's gonna happen one day. All right, Mitt Romney. But no, they should have listened to Senator Mitt Romney when he said one of our problems is with Russia. Even Obama laughed at him, the media laughed at him, and what he said was the truth. We didn't pay close attention to what Putin, his strategy, and Biden, unfortunately, he's typically, what he's going to do. With Trump, you didn't really know what he was going to say or do. So a lot of people did not want to touch President Trump like that. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think Putin wanted to test Trump, but I think he really tested. And I don't think he wanted to test Hillary Clinton either if she was the president. That's why they didn't want her to be elected, because I think she would have put boots on the ground, honestly. She would have done a better job, I think, than Biden. And Biden's really trying to play it quote unquote safe, and it's still a disaster on the sand because gas prices is high, food is high, the minimum wage is still low. If he was smart, that's another thing I wish he would have brought up in the State of the Union. He should have said, hey, we need to propose a bill. He should have proposed it to say make minimum wage $15 an hour. He needs to do something so the average voter need to say, okay, I'm getting something from the deal. He increased minimum wage. That will help people, as well as black voters will come out and vote. But if he's not willing to do those things, he's not going to win in 2024, and Democrats are going to lose in the midterm elections, as well as Senator Warnock in Georgia may even lose that seat if he don't have nothing tangible to run on. He needs some wins, because if all of these senators that's running and that's being and going against Republicans in their respective states, if they say, listen, we made marijuana legal, that's a good win for a lot of Americans. You can really run on that. Oh, he increased the minimum wage to $15 an hour. You can really go back to your home state and say, listen, we got some major wins that benefit black people. But if they're not willing to do that, they're going to lose in the midterm, and I think they're going to lose in the general election. And when it comes to 2024.
Well, we already know we're going to lose for both. But I do have a question for you, Wiley. What's happening to the Ukrainian refugees right now, those from Africa? Do you think it's wrong or morally wrong what's happening to them?
I think it's all the way wrong. I think that it's a failure of African leaders. I think they need a little bit more power on the world stage because I think they get used a lot. I think it was a major failure for them, the way how they was just mistreated. And I don't think Africa as a whole, I'm talking about the entire continent, is not utilized. They need to be more together as a united front. Because if they do that, they can have more power on the world stage. But that power, they didn't have that enough power. And look how their citizens are being treated. It was so sad. This would not have happened if this was any other country, another power player. I don't think they would be pushing them and to the side. But of course, because of the failure of Africa being so divided and not as united, it's just so sad. And then they just show you that racism still exists in all these countries in Europe. Like, people think racism is gone. No, you actually saw that in a country in crisis, they still remember we still racist. We still don't want you on our trains. So thank you so much for calling in.
I'm just gonna respond to that real quick, Wally, because CD in the chat is definitely writing me right now, and she thinks she has something important to say. So I can't wait till she get on to not say anything. But is Ukraine wrong for what they're doing? Yes. Are they morally wrong for what they're doing? No. And the reason why I say that is, in the time of war, you're gonna always preserve your race before anybody else. I will hope, if anything has happened to America and things have come to America's soil, that Black people will first care about Black people before any other race when it comes to that. I am not going to put someone who doesn't share my ideologies before my own people. They're about race preservation. It may seem wrong, and it is, but it's not morally wrong. And I felt like if we had that mindset of not putting other races before us, a lot of races would not be capitalizing on the souls of what we've done and in our communities, and that's why we don't have as much as we do have. So thank you so much, Wally. I can't wait to hear CD and her little dollar take tampons talking about this issue.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna go to the next caller. I know it's lengthy. Hold on one second. Anonymous, you live on air. Good morning.
Hello, Wiley.
Hi.
Hello, Wiley.
Hi.
Oh, you can hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, Wiley. I want to call in and comment on Joe Biden, because let me tell you something. I see you got Cardi B on the stand, and I'm about to call her out, and I'm about to call Jamel Hill out. I'm calling Charlamagne out. I'm calling all these people who put Joe Biden in front of us to tell us to vote for them because a Donald Trump supporter hurt their feelings. And that's what happened, Wiley. This election was emotional based. We were very emotional people during the summer of 2020. And Trump just did not make it no better. And by the time it was time to vote, everything just had ball over. Joe Biden will not do anything for Black people, and if you guys are waiting for that, it's not going to happen. I can't believe that people blindly voted for this man. He's not going to cancel the student loans. They're not going to give reparations. They got billions of dollars to send over to these other countries that has nothing to do with us, and it's just sickening, Wiley. These people are leaving the Black people in their country to fight while they send these other people on the train to get out of harm's way. I cannot support it. I cannot support him, Wiley. I tried to give this man a benefit of the doubt. We have a vice president, and I just feel like he is just so useless, Wiley. She stands behind him like a little puppet. Like she has nothing to say. I have not heard this woman say not one thing on TV since she has been elected. Not one thing. And I just cannot do them anymore, Wiley. All these public figures and these celebrities and these people with these millions of followers who actually came out and supported this man, you need to come out and be honest with the people and tell the people you was allegedly probably paid or you was following the crowd, Wiley, because I think they all got a big check. So this is promotion. All this Joe Biden was a Fashion Nova promotion, Wiley, for these celebrities on social media. That's all it was. You have Cardi B here. She's a Trump supporter, her sister feelings, and she went and talked to Joe Biden and did not say not one complete sentence, but they voted for him. You have Jamel Hill, who who follows Black Lives Matter, and all they do is steal money and buy houses with them, Wiley. We cannot support that as Black people. Our children are in school. They're not learning anything. They're dropping out of school at the age of 13. They're running wild. They're running away. And we have no help in the community, Wiley. And President Obama, I don't know where you're at, but you need to get up and you need to say something. You need to go to the White House and you need to talk to your former vice president and let him know that he has to do better by your people. You get, this country is just falling apart, Wiley, and I don't know what's going to happen. Gas is about to go up to $16 a gallon, and I'm afraid to buy a new car. I need a new car, Wiley, and I don't know if I want to buy an SUV because I'll probably not be able to put gas in it to get to work. I mean, this is sick, Wiley. This is sick. I need a car. Gas prices going up. How am I get to work? I mean, Joe Biden, I just don't understand him, Wiley. You know, they get on TV and they talk about Trump and they can talk about Russia, but that has nothing to do with us. I was on the side of Ukraine until I saw those people getting kicked off of that train, Wiley. And once they got kicked off the train, I could not support that man no more. The president of the United States told him, I will send you a ride to get you to safety. He said, no, I'm going to sit here and fight. And I do respect your fighting with his people, but you can't come over there and want us to help you because we can't help ourselves. We have to help our American people. How can we go over in Ukraine and fight when we can barely help ourselves? While we can't get to work because of gas prices, and we can't. You know, we're on the fence of getting a new car because I see a nice Mercedes Wiley that I want to get, but it's gonna cost me about $100 a week to fill up. I mean, this is just so sickening. As American people, we deserve nice things, Wiley. And as a Black American, Wiley, I deserve that Mercedes Benz without worrying about gas. But I don't know what to do. But Wiley, I cannot support Joe Biden. Excuse me, Wiley. I cannot support him. I just can't.
All right. Thank you so very much for calling in. All right. The number is 646-716-8447. I was just conservative. 4894. You live on air.
Oh, good morning, Marquise.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm calling in to talk to you about the marijuana situation. You're talking about the law being changed. And I'm going to agree with you today. We actually on the same page that if the Democrats don't get it together, this is going to bite them in the ass. I am a marijuana advocate in Missouri. I helped get it passed medically back in 2018. We're doing recreational now. And I'm actually going to testify at the Capitol in Jefferson City, Missouri for the Republicans. Recreational marijuana bill. And do you want to know why? We have two other Democratic sponsored recreational marijuana bills. One of them is from the people who basically conned and scammed the medical program in 2018. And the way that they have it written is that because, you know, the people that got the dispensaries for the medical licenses in 2018, they will be first in line to get dispensary licenses for the recreational. Now, they put a provision in there saying they would be willing to offer the minority community, as they call it, micro businesses. And what I told them, I said, you know, you guys, that micro business word sounds like 3/5 a person to me. It sounds like sharecropping to me. And this is coming from people who, you know, say they're Democrats. But like I said, it's all a scam. It's all about money. It's the same people that sponsored the medical marijuana bill in 2018. The other one sounds great. You know, oh, also the other bill too, the first one, they have something that says in there, if you have 3 pounds, you can still go to jail. Guess who that's going to hit the worst? Black people. And I don't think that that's fair either. The second bill, it's called Fair Access. It's great, you know, everything's wonderful, but they're fucking up because they put
psychedelics in there, mushrooms and all that kind of stuff, which I totally know that it heals people just like marijuana does. I know the benefits of it. But my thing is, we are in Missouri. You're not going to talk these old church ladies into mushrooms and stuff. I mean, they're not going to go for that. So that's going to kill the bill anyway. So this other bill is fair. And also the one that I'm going to testify about, they want to give people money back who lost money in the 2018 shenanigans when they did the medical dispensaries. They want to reimburse people because most of those people were people like me, you know, just starter businesses, putting money together to do it. But the people that got the licenses were big companies, some people from out of state. And that was something that they claimed they pushed for, was that they were going to make sure all the license winners were from Missouri. That was a bunch of BS. All these people here that got dispensaries are from out of state. Some of them are Russian. That's a whole nother story that I could go into. But yeah, so I understand what you're saying. And I feel some kind of way that I'm going to testify on the Republicans' behalf. But out of all the laws that they're trying to do here, that one is actually the one that's going to benefit Black people. Another thing too about that first bill that got most of the money behind it, not only is the 3-pound rule that they're trying to enforce, that if you get pulled over, you get stopped, and you have over 3 pounds, you can go to jail. They're not offering to expunge any felonies for people who have marijuana charges in the past, which I'm also a real estate agent, and I'm telling you now, you're not going to find a place to live if you have that on your record. It makes me really sad because I have a lot of people with good credit, great people, but they have that marijuana felony and they can't find a place to live. And it's very scary right now in today's housing market.
And so that's
because
it's really so sad, because I remember I was watching I don't know what, I was watching some show, and the guy asked her, "Why do you live in this neighborhood?" And she was talking about she have a felony, and it was so hard for her to get, housing. And that's a whole nother problem that, Congress need to tackle, as well as the president, to help this base. But I'm so glad you're on the same page with marijuana. And when it do pass on the federal level, as well as many other states, we must make sure that Black folks are getting a piece of the pie, because traditionally,
and I'll
historically,
tell you why they're not.
They don't get
like
it.
I said, being an advocate here, it's kind of weird to step back and watch this shit play out, because if there's any plant that needs to be outlawed, it's the sugar plant. I have lost so many family members from diabetes, but I don't hear anybody talking about let's outlaw the sugar, and we should. But I'll tell you what it is. I grew up in church, and the politicians, they come and they, put their little offering in and act like they give a fuck about Black people, and literally right out the door, their little suit coats be flying in the air, running to their car when church is out, begging for votes. But when this came around, you didn't see nobody hitting up the Black churches. Nobody. And you want to know why? Because they have got people so programmed from the church. That's a whole nother conversation about how the church needs to be shook, because there's a lot of shit wrong going on in the church. But they got so many people just not so say scared, but scared to say, that they are for marijuana. I actually, people hear your story, they will change their mind. I did a lot of that because a lot of the people that watched me grow up and remember how overweight I used to be, how unhealthy I used to be, how sick I was because I have lupus, and they see me now because I'm a weed smoker. Like you said, you couldn't get a busload of us together, people that like to smoke the weed. It's not even about liking to smoke the weed. It's about what it did for my health. I lost 100 pounds. I feel amazing. So there's no words that can say weed is bad when they see me. So sometimes it just takes someone who can show them what the plan can do to change their mind. And I believe that's how the bill got passed in 2018. You got a lot of those church people that saw the benefits that it was doing health-wise. But like I said, they have them so programmed now, not understanding that the plant that needs to be outlawed is the sugar plant. But after church all my life, when church is out, We ran downstairs. We had fried chicken, ham, Jeff Davis pie, chocolate sheet cake every Sunday, killing us, literally. And we're blind to that in the Black community. And it's just sad to watch. It really is.
I agree. I agree. And that's why we must continue to apply pressure in our individual states and apply pressure on a federal level. And I think if Biden would have made that conversation, it would have, his approval ratings would have went up. I think he would have got a bump in his approval ratings with that announcement alone, because so many people that live in states that want this to be legalized, even the people when it's illegal, people are still finding a way to smoke. Okay.
Absolutely.
And so
absolutely.
I think here in Texas, I think they approved it for like medical. You get it, medical marijuana. But if you're doing it for medical, you might as well do it for all people to smoke that want to smoke it, because it will help your individual state to money wise. You know what I'm saying?
That lady that was on the phone crying definitely need to smoke her some weed. She need to chill out. But it does so many benefits for you health wise that it's crazy. Like, I was on Percocet, prednisone. I was on the chemo pill. I was on everything. I had lupus so bad. And one day they were about to put me in the hospital, and because I had pneumonia. And I said, I had to go show a house. And I told my doctor, no, I'm not. I have to go to work. And the next day I said, you know what? I called my cousin. I got me some weed. I started walking my subdivision. The weight started falling off. I started feeling great. I was able to get up and work every day, not taking pills and sleeping all night long and stuff. It changed my life. And not to mention what it could do for us financially. And also not to mention what it could do for the housing market. Because like I said, we have a housing shortage. I'm about to go show some houses right now. It's terrifying. You can build a whole house from the hemp plant. But you know who don't want to talk about that? These companies, the lumber companies don't want to hear that, because they know it's coming. You can build a whole house. You can furnish your house just with the hemp plant. It's a lot of things that it can do, but they're, really just trying to keep it under wraps because they're scared. I really believe that. I believe that. But Wiley, I appreciate, you taking on this subject, because, I feel like we need to be more educated on it. But like I said, I am going to the Capitol to testify for the Republicans, and I hate it, but I have to do what I have to do. And also, another one of the bills too, the one that has all the money put behind it, they wrote in there that if Joe Biden does come along and legalize weed or decriminalize it federally or whatever, what they've written up will proceed what he says. Now tell me how right is that?
Oh yeah, that would definitely
a lot of shady shit.
It was very, 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 very shady. This is why, voting is important. Not just on federal and your local.
Down here crying about Joe Biden. It's your local.
It's your local, your state reps, your judges, your state representative. All of that really matters. But also, it's a void of companies or organizations to promote the power of local elections. Let's speak about the DNC on the state, local level. They're not doing enough to preach the power of the local vote. You know who really got that down pat is the Republicans. They understand the power of the local vote. They study because they saw all of this, what black folks getting all these rights, and they said, wow, we really need to look at the Supreme Court. Because let's be clear, we would still be segregated in schools if it wasn't for the Supreme Court. So they started getting these federal societies to study that court. And they said, we need to start getting these right-wing conservatives on the Supreme Court. And look what they have done. They have literally changed the face of the courts. So we do, as the DNC, all these organizations, need to do a better job putting resources to tell folks, don't just vote in the federal election for president, also vote for your state reps and also vote for your judges as well. So a lot of these organizations got to do a better job promoting that. But if the top do well with legalizing marijuana, that will bring more people to the polls in the midterm elections. That will bring more people. That, if that were to pass today, or just having that conversation alone, people would be excited. But if it were to pass and become law, that will help so many people, especially when you talk about canceling student loan debt. A lot of folks will be able to expand their business alone because they won't have to worry about making those massive payments to student loans. So
and buy a house. A lot of people can't buy houses because of their student loan debt.
Because of their student loan debts, and then get into the housing market. That's wealth right there. You understand what I'm saying? And actually make sure the law and make sure to get off your credit report. That will help a lot of people be able to get home, and that will help a lot of people like yourself, sell these houses that's in this current market. So again, and that will help millions of African Americans, and then they can leave their house to their children, and that will help because that's wealth right there. People don't understand that's why Black people lost a lot of wealth is because the housing crisis. That a lot of Black folks lost a lot of money in that because they lost their houses, and in return that hurt a lot of Black families. So people need to understand the power of home ownership. And so I'm glad that you're actually on here to speak about that. So that alone I don't know why Democrats don't get it. I get it because we need to be in these rooms because they get these white folks with these iPads and computers and they're so out of touch with the people. And that's one of the reasons why they need real people like yourself in those rooms to make these real changes. And I think President Biden.
And I went to Jefferson City, to my capital, to meet with Miss Claire McCaskill, who was our senator at the time, and told her how she needed to get on board with the medical marijuana, and she didn't. And now she's sitting up on MSNBC with Joy Reid or wherever, talking about the news. And we got Josh Hawley. So.
Oh, she got voted out?
Absolutely, yes, she did. She lost to Josh Hawley, and that's why we got Josh Hawley. So, had she got on board with that, she would have won, but she didn't. Now, like I said, she's up there on Morning Joe and Joe and Mika and them. I guess getting a good check, but
I really don't understand that. Like, those are very popular stances, and you have something to run on. That is something I love. That, like, if you do that, that's something, because like when Democrats lose, they're gonna be like, how do we lose this and blah 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 blah. But y'all not doing what the people want. People come out. Republicans. This whole thing with CRT. Look how they rally behind a lie.
It's not even true.
It wasn't even true.
My sister teaches school, and they're not doing that in school.
They're not doing that. But did that stop these white parents from going to them school board meetings? They packed out the houses, like, you know what I'm saying? And they rally behind that idea of, look what they teach your kids. Oh my gosh, let's run to the school, Catherine. And they ran to the schools, and the whole thing with mask mandate. I remember my white sister, she got out there, she did a whole remix of Mariah Carey song because she didn't want no mandate. And she was singing a song about not having mandates. They rally behind their ideas, and let's be clear, Republicans feed into that energy, and that drive the people out there to vote. And if Democrats do that with the popular idea of medical marijuana, passing,
we'd be unstoppable.
Take the felonies away, like they say, hey, if you have a felony, you can apply for a student loan. I mean, they will stay in office for the next 500 years. But if they don't do it, they're going to continue to be behind. They're going to be the minority. Right. And Republicans are making sure when they take power that they never lose it. That's why the voter suppression laws are being passed. So they said, listen, we know that once we gain power, it's going to be difficult for Democrats because we get to draw the maps. And that's another reason why you have to vote in your state reps, because they draw the map for Congress and all of that. And so now they're trying to make it difficult for Democrats as well as Black representatives, their district. They're trying to redraw those maps. So this is why voting matters, people. It matters on all accounts, but Democrats also have to do a better job giving voters something off the table, because we're not giving them nothing. Right. The average voter from the street not gonna vote, and then you're gonna lose. So I'm saying we need something so we can say to the people on the street, listen, they passed this. This will help you. They legalize the marijuana. You need to go vote these people in. That will help a lot of people go out and vote. But if you keep giving them poop and not doing nothing, they're gonna stay at home. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah. So
I think
we'll see what happens, but they better get it together.
They should. Biden should, and I don't understand it at all. Like, I really, really don't understand it. Kamala Harris, she was asked a question, about the defund the police on The View, and they was bringing that to her, and she said, this the idea of defunding, it's about reallocating funding. And I wish that the president would have listened to his vice president and said, let me put that in the speech, but he did, unfortunately. It's just I'm not surprised because
it's about messaging. It's about messaging.
Messaging matters.
Republicans keep it short and simple for the dumb people.
They
PRT.
do. They keep it. They
build
keep
the wall. That's short and simple.
They keep it short and they keep it short.
Lock her up.
And they promote it, and they have a network of conservative radio stations and a network of bloggers, and they got the Candace Owens, and they got, you know what I'm saying, they got Fox News to really play those simple messages in this. Democrats have they over-explain stuff too much, and they try to, you know what I'm saying, they don't make it simple for the average voter. You know, they understand.
Right.
Anybody can understand lock her up. Anybody can understand build a wall. But you have black folks saying build the wall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From the hood, they need to build that wall. I'm tired of them taking our jobs. They're repeating the same talking points that Republicans were putting out there. They do a great job with promotion and marketing. Democrats, unfortunately, they fail when it comes to marketing their plan. Or, you know, for the president, they passed the American Rescue Act, and they're going to help with infrastructure. Why is not, if President Trump would have done that, he would have done a press conference in front of a broken or a messed up bridge or something. Say, look what I passed. You know what I'm saying? He would have gloated over that success. Democrats, when you get a win, you must go to the people and say, this is what we accomplished, and this is how this is going to benefit you. You have to let the people know. Like Kamala Harris, she was doing a lot, but she wasn't going on shows. So people didn't know. They said, oh, she ain't doing nothing. And then once she started coming out and you start seeing more of her, then you start seeing her poll numbers go up, but she also a VP. But what President Biden needs to do, once he say decriminalize marijuana, he needs to do a tour around the country, a press tour, and go to these states and say, hey, this will how it would benefit your state. And a lot of Republican governors will be on board because they will see all that money that will come to their state. That's a lot. We're talking about billions of dollars that you can, especially,
and it's enough for everybody. There's no need for them to be greedy in this economy because the greed mindset and capitalism is what has wrecked every other economy. But it's not necessary.
Yeah,
in this economy, there's enough for everybody.
It's actually enough. And I see a lot of black candidates. Some of them are afraid to say black people. Blah, 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 blah. They're afraid to say that. But it's the black vote. Biden have to understand black women and black men, especially black women. They came out and voted for Biden. If they would have stayed at home, Democrats, they out of business. Black women is the highest voting bloc in the nation.
And that's why I didn't understand Claire McCaskill's move. Like, that was dumb. And like I said, that's why she's on MSNBC drinking her coffee with her cake in the background every night in New York.
And black women have organizations, and they talk to other black women organizations and stuff like that. Biden needs to do a better job with policies, and he needs to do on his bully pulpit and tell these Democrats like Joe Manchin, even though I think, and this just is my estimation, he's gonna announce he's a Republican. Just give him time. It's either gonna be this year.
He said the other night
he was over there with the Republican. As soon he's gonna change his party. That's where he's gonna go and stuff like that. But what Biden should have done is went to his home state and applied pressure to show I'm not playing. If you want to do this, I'm gonna come to your home base and I'm gonna tell your people, and they're gonna turn against you. They're not willing to do that. One thing I love about Trump, that if he sees somebody going against him, he used to tweet against them, or he a funny candidate against him. He's not afraid to go against people in his own party. Even Mitch McConnell, he made him look small. Democrats, as well as Biden, need to do that with his party and get his party in, say, hey, this is what we need to do when it comes to that. But I agree with you, sister, and I'm glad that you go into those meetings and say, hey, this is what's going on in my home state. And this is why I'm so interested in what's going on in Texas. Because I told people, I said, Texas can be blue in the next voting cycle. If Democrats, the DNC, would put money into this state and register people and tell people to come out and vote, this will be a blue state. And these Republicans know it. I've talked to many Republicans. They said, we know this state can be blue. That's why they changed the laws to make sure try to like trying to push it. Not we trying to make sure let's put these obstacles in place because we know we about to lose some power here in Texas. Because it's a lot of people from California moving, from Philadelphia, from Chicago. This state can actually be blue if Democrats actually come here and really push the resources to get people to come out and vote. This will be a blue state. And a lot of states that's red can be blue.
A handful of Black people from each county. I promise you. Show up down to your state capital and see what happens. The looks you will get. They get scared. They be like, oh shit, like what's going on? They don't understand because too many people are at home, listen to the Wiley Show, calling in crime about they need a new car, and they get on their ass and literally going to the place to demand change. That's what it takes.
That's what I'm saying. If people would put, cause I get emails of how my show this and I'm this and that. I said, if you could do that with your Congress or your Senate or your state representatives, change can happen. You know what I'm saying? Because complaining to me is okay, but complaining to people with the power that can change your life is a better thing to do. Like parents have to do a better job. I was talking to a parent, something was going on with her child curriculum, and they said, instead of saying slavery, they said, well, Black people were planters. They were, trying to take the slavery. I said, this is why it's so important for parents to go to these school board meetings like these white parents to make sure that history, our history, Black history, slavery, and all of that, what's going on in Africa is being taught in these schools. That's why it's so important to go to these school board meetings. That's why it's important to vote people in that's going to give the correct curriculum. We must be involved in what's going on in our political system. I will be clear with you in Chicago. This is what tests my role into it. I remember in Chicago, we needed a speed bump, if I'm saying it right, on our street because we had a school across the street from my grandmother's house, and the people was just, and my brother actually got hit by a motorcycle. And on this block, they were just driving, and that's why I said, wow. Who do we talk to? Because I didn't know anything about politics. And somebody said, well, the aldermen, they get such and such amount of money that they are in charge. Your city council person is in charge of their area. And so I kept calling, kept going up there. And eventually we got the speed hump. They came in, did the whole street thing. And my grandma said, how did it happen? While I was watching this radio show, that's why media matters. I was listening to WVON. They were talking about the power of your alderman. They call them aldermen in Chicago. And then I was starting to notice. So that's why it's so important to get involved. And I felt good that we got involved. And I remember my grandmother get the garbage cans that she requested. I said, listen, we are all registered voters and blah, blah, blah. And you know what I'm saying? And, change happened. So, and I understand the power of being a registered voter. And that's why you have to, get involved. And that was more so on, on the local level. That's why when I do this show, I always tell people, get involved into your local elections, get involved into that and bring it back to the Wiley Show so we can encourage, like you, sister, is encouraging the next brother or sister to get involved.
Well, I got involved with this because I remember being 5 years old and them bringing the DARE program. And, we had to sit through that little shenanigans and fiascos, a clown show, actually. And then I go home and my dad goes to jail for having weed. And when all this started happening, what that did for me as an elementary age kid was give me anxiety and paranoia. Because when I had to go sit to the DARE program thinking, oh shit, when's the next time they're going to come kick our door down? Everybody else was getting candy and suckers. I was literally having panic attacks thinking they're going to come and get my daddy again. So that's why I got involved. And my first news appearance, I wore my DARE t-shirt to talk about weed, and it felt so liberating. But that's why I got involved. I was like, this is bullshit. I remember what happened to my family when I was 5 years old. And now y'all white folks want to come and do this shit and flex and floss like it's some kind of high-class business? No, sir. Nah, this ain't fair. So that's why I got involved.
Absolutely. That's and it's really good to get involved with it and understand that. And so I'm grateful that you are definitely involved. I'm going to do a better job, get more so involved. And because I always complain, why it is like this and this. So now I'm more so finding out who is my congressperson here
do something about it. Don't just
in
sit and
Texas.
complain. Do something.
Do something about it and really get involved, because I was involved in Chicago and now I'm not in the city of Chicago anymore. So I get involved here and I say, well, how can I utilize my platform to get involved? So that's why we bring these topics up as well as the mess, but I also have to mix it in with stuff that affect us every day, and which the State of the Union do affect us, whether we want to believe it or not. But then also we got to talk about these state races and stuff like that. And that's why we had to bring it up. But I'm so glad that you came on, sister. And you from Colorado?
Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. Thank you, sis. And you into the house. And that's like a whole nother conversation about shout out to J. Mal Green in Chicago. They have a organization, My Turn to Own, and he's helping Black people become home owners, getting their credit right. And a couple of people thought they never could own a home, and they got educated and they become homeowners. And I said, that is so amazing. He not only he complained about it, but he started his own organization, and he actually and they do a class, I think every Wednesday with people like yourself, real estate agents, and they have people, credit persons on every week, educating us about the power of home ownership. And I even join the class, every time I can get about that. And they actually working on, my credit, so I can become a homeowner, because it's power into becoming a homeowner and stuff like it's power into that. And a lot of Black people
and
need
let's
to
tie it
understand
together with his plan. Let's build houses from him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's don't even go there about the energy cost, the difference between a regular built house, stick built house, and a hemp house. I've been in a hemp house. It's the perfect temperature in the summer and the perfect temperature in the winter. You hardly ever have to run any heat. And I live in Missouri, where someday it'll be 30 degrees, 5 minutes later it'll be 70 degrees. Like the temperature, just there's so many amazing things that we need to start looking into and being serious about. And we can knock out a lot of problems: homelessness, incarceration, bad health with one plant. We can do so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, sis, for calling. Always call.
And I'm not going to damn you to the cotton fields today. I'm going to be nice to you today, Wiley, because we're going to have a conversation where I feel like I could inform people of what's happening, at least in Missouri. And I'm not going to cuss you out today, okay?
Well, it's a good thing that you're not actually cussing me out today. Oh, wow. Not to say you're not going to cuss me out today. Thank you.
Wiley, well, you have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. This was great. This was a good show. I do want to give a special shout out to the callers that called in. Special shout out to that sister that called. Okay, that called in. That was amazing. Anybody else that want to call in? The number is 646-716-8447, 646-716-8447, because one of the reasons why Trump, and thank you, Simone, she posted, let me be very, very real here. Trump lost because of the way he kept flip-flopping about the state of the pandemic. Correct. If Democrats lose in the midterm, I would say the way that they lost is because of them not keeping their promise towards Black voters. And if Biden lose, is because if these gas prices keep coming up, inflation keep coming up, keep going up, they will lose, because people ain't energized when their gas prices $4, $5, $6. They're not gonna come out and vote for you if them gas prices looking like that. Let's just be 100% real on that. Anonymous, you live on the air.
Yes, Wiley. Wiley, I want to say one more thing. I have a flight to catch at 1:15, but that lady, I heard her mention my car, and I would like to say something, Wiley. I respect you, because you are one of the bloggers who talk about mess and serious topics. But I always call into your show mainly to talk politics, that, and comment on things when it comes to Black people. But I would like to respond to that lady, ma'am. Let's be clear, okay? Let's not act like half of you guys want marijuana legal to support your drug habits because you are potheads. Let's not get that twisted. That is a fact. Okay, yes, marijuana should be legal to help people who need it, but most of you guys are fighting for marijuana to support your drug habit. So let's not even go there, okay, Wiley?
Well, it's
Thank
a it's a
you.
it's it's a
Again,
it's a
thank you
lot
for
it's
this
a lot
topic.
of health thing for the benefit of that, and also it will also help a lot of people that have gotten felonies because of that. That should be out of their record. So this will
Yeah.
help a lot of people
Well,
become business
well,
owners. It will help. It will help a lot of states that are struggling to balance their budget because there's a lot of money not coming through. It will help a lot of people if they were to legalize, marijuana. And let's not be clear, it
yeah.
does make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? And I feel it's this. If cigarettes are legal and the way how he have gotten people all this lung cancer, why can't marijuana be legal when it in fact have a lot of health benefits towards it?
Well, Wiley, that's because they would have to if they legalize marijuana, the taxes on marijuana is going to be higher than cigarettes because more people is going to be buying it.
Well, it's
But
no problem. People will
people
buy
who
it.
need,
I mean, it's up to whoever you elect, and to come with those type of ideas. So I think it would be great for the country. You don't think so?
but for the people who have marijuana charges on there, well, instead of saying legalize it, I think it would be a better idea to just expunge those people records. We have a better chance of getting those records expunged than to get marijuana legalized for everybody in every state. Because a lot of people are going to abuse that habit. It's already happening.
I don't think
So
people will be able to
benefit,
abuse it. It will bring it's a lot of states where it's doing wonderful in their state. The money that's coming into their state is actually great. They just passed it not too long ago in Illinois. It's doing well, and I think it should be on it. And if it passed in California, and California is one of our largest states in this nation, it should be passed nationally. Why not?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's going to be, especially the Republican states. I don't think marijuana
I think
is
so.
going to
It
be
has already, and
legalized
Texas
all
is a
over the
Republican
US.
state, and they have already passed it for medical marijuana, for medical stuff. So why not just pass it for people that want to smoke it on a regular, in their person just want to smoke it?
I mean, they should. I do think they should because it's not harming nobody. But let's not act like these people don't get extra dumb when they're high. Wiley, these people be dumb as rocks when they're up here high. Just imagine going to work. You work in a serious job, or you're a doctor or a nurse. You're a caregiver.
Alcohol. Let's be clear. Alcohol is legal, right? And for a long time, in our history, they had that is illegal at one point. But now it's legal in our country. And how many accidents were caused because of alcohol? Did they make it illegal? No. Because so when it comes to weed, why can't I understand that? And if you would get punished if you get cause accident because of you being influenced with marijuana, that will be the same punishment and stuff like that. If you under the influence of weed and you get into accidents, you still will be punished. And those laws will be on the books if that were to make it legal on a national level. I personally believe that because, like I said, cigarettes. Let's be clear on that. How many people have lung cancer because of cigarettes? Is it illegal? No. But what they do put on the cigarette box, they said, hey, it causes lung cancers. Don't smoke when you're pregnant, et cetera, et cetera. But I also believe that marijuana should be legal, and not only just legal, but also expunge the records of African Americans, of all Americans that actually serve in time because they were selling marijuana. That will help a lot of people in their personal life, and it will also help our economy, and it will also help many states that are struggling right now.
Yeah, well, Wiley, like I said, I agree. They need to expunge the records. It's gonna be a hard time to get marijuana legalized in every.
I mean, it's an uphill battle, but if we get senators and Congress in there that believe in that, it can change. It can happen. All right, it can happen.
That's the thing, Wiley.
And I believe that our president should have put that in his speech because that would encourage a lot of African Americans, and not just African American, a lot of Americans would have said, "Hey, man, that's good. That's some good information right there. I'm gonna vote that man in office." Because let's be clear, it will help a lot of states. It will help a lot of states will welcome that.
Yeah, yes, Martin. And like I said, we just have to get Congress that, the Republicans and the Democrats. I mean, this country is so divided. We just have to get people who in Congress who are just for the people. I just feel like these people in Congress is just not. They're not for the people. They're all for themselves. That's why, to me, the Democrats and the Republicans are two sides of the same coin. They're all one. And it's just about, who you like. Joe Biden and Donald Trump, the same people to me. And I mean, I just feel like individually we can do more in our community than waiting on the government. I cannot wait on the government for anything. I have to go out there and get it on my own. I have to help my people on my own, Wiley. If we wait for the government, y'all, we will be waiting forever. That's why I really would wish that our rich Black people would come back to their original communities and give back, build centers that will help us instead of just depending on the government. I feel like we as people, even though we pay taxes, we are too dependent on this government. And when they do something that we don't like Joe Biden is doing right now, our feelings get hurt. And it's time and time again. It's like a kid getting their hopes up and just to get their hopes knocked down again. That's what it is when it comes to the government. And us as people, we have to look out for ourselves. But right now we are in a divided country. It's you against me, it's me against you, and we will never win like that, Wiley. And I mean, thank you for this conversation, Wiley. I appreciate this conversation this morning, Wiley.
Thank you so very much for calling in. All right. 1423 calling you on air.
Hi, Wiley.
Hi.
How are you?
All right.
So I wanted to start off by saying thank you. I love it when you do these kind of shows. We need this in our community, and I will always praise you and thank you for doing these kinds of shows.
Thank you.
So I wanted to speak on something while you have the platform and while we're on the conversation. So I'm from a county in Maryland that is one of, if not the richest, affluent counties of African-American people in the United States, right? And we have nothing to show for it here. The roads are terrible. The schools are terrible. And the issue is not really like Republican versus Democrat thing. The issue is that we start making money. We think we made it. Mm-hmm. And we forget to go back and pull up the rest of our people. We forget that there is still a fight. You may have made it. You may have gotten an education. You may have gotten that 6-figure plus job, but our brothers and sisters is out here struggling. So when you pull out of your nice big house with your Benz, but you're taking your child to a school that's borderline dilapidated, that's not okay.
No, it's really not okay. And what I tell you that in those places on the state, this is why it's important to have a good governor. It's important to have good state representatives. It's important to have a good mayor. I don't understand why these schools are just run down. Our educational system is just broken, and we need to invest more resources and to help these struggling schools. It should be fair. It shouldn't be in the suburb area getting more money for their schools because taxpayers, as more homeowners and more tax dollars going to that school. The government should be involved into saying, hey, let's invest in these underserving schools. And it's a different way to how to educate our kids. We still got this old way of education. It's a new way now. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to some of these good charter schools. It's different ways how to educate kids. And we need to, and parents definitely got to get involved and say, hey, let's try a new way of educating our kids, because this way that we've been doing for decades is not working. It's new ways. And so shout out to people independent wise coming together and say, hey, I'm going to have a charter school that's going to teach financial literacy. I'm going to have a school that's going to, you know what I'm saying, teach you about your history. And, it's different ways to teach. And a lot of these public schools, I'm not joking, it's just a flop. And it's been a flop for a long time.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm glad you brought up the education piece because so my son is in fifth grade, and I am the PTA president at his school. I've always served on the board at some capacity, vice president, president. And I want to encourage our people. I fight and I sit on them boards. I attend those state meetings. I speak on all levels of county representatives. I will email somebody in a second for our people. What our people do, and I'm not saying all, I don't want the whole chat to get mad at me. I'm not saying all, but it is beyond social media. Like, I'm gonna give you an example real quick. PG County, where I'm from, they ended the virtual learning program and wanted everyone to go back to school. Parents were upset. They were raising all kinds of hell. So I said, okay, let's petition, let's fight, let's go to the school board. Wiley, out of the hundreds of people on social media complaining, I had maybe 10 parents come with me to the protest. I had maybe 10 parents come speak with me at the State Board of Education meeting. Like, we have to fight. We need to show them that we are willing to fight for our children and our rights the same way those gun-toting hillbillies do when they get mad about something. We need to let them know that we will speak up.
Absolutely. I agree. I really agree. And that's why parents, you have to get involved. And that's why our resources need to be boots on the ground to promote to these parents and remind them and say, hey, this is why it's so important to get involved. Because if you don't get involved, and you shouldn't even have to force a parent. Sometimes parents need to be educated about the power of them standing up for their child education. Because if you don't do it, if the parents not caring, then the system going to stay the same. Why the system going to change if y'all is not telling us to change it?
Exactly. So I just wanted to call in. I appreciate you. We need these conversations amongst ourselves, not on a national level. We need to talk about it in-house first and then go fight. We don't need to let everybody know our conversations in secret. So I appreciate that. And I want to encourage everyone to get involved. Like the mayor of the city that I live in, he shows up to my protest. He's very involved. I will email and call somebody in a second as if I'm the president. Like, I don't care what is going on, what my educational level is, any of that. You're going to listen to me. Absolutely. And I'm going to call you and I'm going to email you. And Wiley, you need to run for something. You should look up this website it's actually called Run for Something. Their whole mission is to encourage, it's to encourage and give people like us, people who want to get involved, don't really know how, people who don't come from a family lineage of political power, to get involved in politics, and they will back you and fund you.
Because for me,
they had with Cory Booker.
Because I always intrigued by politics. It's just something about it. Even when I was younger, it was something about politics that I always want to get involved with. That's why I've been in and I need to move back to Chicago because I'm so in love with that city. But I have a friend that he may run for mayor, he may not run for mayor. And I tell him, run, you need to run. Because one thing I've noticed that we have to change, in order to change the system, we need to be in those rooms. You know what I'm saying? We need a representative to say that's reminded to speak up for Black people. We have to, and that's so important. Representation does matter. And then, you know what I'm saying? It matters on all levels. And I love it. I love talking about politics. It's amazing. I don't too much watch CNN because sometimes it's the same stuff over and over. And same stuff over and over. But every once in a while, I do check out these speeches from these politicians. And one politician that really, really I love Gary Chambers, that's running out of Louisiana for Senate. Because he was smoking some weed. I'm a huge component of making weed legal. I would love to sit here and smoke a big fat blunt and just have a weed part. Like, I would run, or if I were to run for office, I'm running on that agenda. Because I know,
and Wiley,
so many people will be there, and then once it get passed, just have an event and we just smoking weed. I will run on that agenda because I know the power of that will help not just Black folks, it helps so many people because it's a lot of, I think it's more white folks that smoke weed than Black folks. But that is like so universal, and I would definitely run on that. And and that will help to put money into our, the schools that are failing. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these places unfortunately don't have the money like they used to. But and then also to schools, like another backbone of schools, if you're a homeowner, you pay property taxes. I don't know in every city that some of the property tax
Sure
supposed to go
do.
toward the school. And if you take felonies off people's records and make them become homeowners, and you got 300, 400, 500 families becoming homeowners in the hood, it will you would literally change. It won't even be called the hood no more. You know what I'm saying? It would become a thriving middle class area, and that school will definitely reflect the change of the community. So people need to understand that is like a lot of power into becoming a homeowner in your community, because some of your property taxes will go towards your school, and people need to realize that. And I'm just glad talking about it, because it needs to be talked about. But I do need to. Everybody say, "Oh, you should run for office," because if I want to run for office, I'm just going to keep it real, and because I know what with President Obama, when he did a speech, he said, if you don't like what's going on in politics, get a clipboard, get a pen. What he said, you run for office. And that is so true. And from that alone, I think he inspired so many African Americans to get into politics, because of they saw, look at this change, and it inspired so many Black people, as well as I think Trump inspired people to get into politics, because he was quote unquote the boogeyman, and it woke up a lot of people to get into politics. So it's amazing. It's just amazing that you called in. I don't know if this is your first time calling into the Wiley Show.
No, I always call in, and I always let you know off top that I'm calling from the DMV, because I love where I'm from. I love my people.
Yes.
But we do have to do better, y'all. We do have to do better. Like, at my son's school, we just had a PTA meeting on Monday that I hosted. We had 20 parents out of the hundreds of students. And the school needs equipment. The school needs things, right? And I am begging, pulling teeth for people to donate basketballs, jump ropes. Like, come on. It is bigger than just us, and it's bigger than just the presidential election.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to tell you before I go,
That's
I
true.
did start an organization, if you're in the area, and it's called POPO, which stands for Protecting Ourselves, Protecting Others. And the whole premise is that we don't need white people. We don't need cops. We don't need the government. If we can come together and do this thing together, we can make changes for our children. We can make things better for the future. And, it's imperative that we have these conversations. So again, I thank you for even providing the platform, taking a step aside from celebrity gossip. We all like talking trash and shooting, getting down with the
Absolutely.
But there's also some other stuff we need to talk about amongst ourselves. I'm not for putting each other on blast, downing each other publicly, and encourage each other in-house, so that when we step outside of our home and outside of our Black communities, we're showing up together, and we let them know we're not here for it, and we're going to demand a change.
Absolutely. We definitely going to have to demand that change. You're right about that. So glad that you're speaking on that. Because like I see these white parents going to these meetings with this CRT mess and with this mask mandate. They were coming out in droves and scared a lot of people on the board. And so we must, utilize. So I'm talking about Black parents must have that skill and say, hey, we must get involved with our children's education, and because it started at home first. And really say this is the change that need to happen in our schools, because like I said, American schools are just, a lot of these schools are just run down. They don't have equipment like that. Kids are behind. I talked to a couple of students that were saying online, it was saying on social media, that the teachers are more better when they was virtual learning, that they were learning a little bit better, that the teacher was explaining the topic more better than it was in class. So I think we need to learn from what works and utilize that, and what don't work, push it aside, throw it away. That's what we need to do for our education. Whatever system works and our children gravitate and helping, we need to utilize that system. And that's why the parents are so important to be involved into this wave, because if the parents stay at home and not involved, you allow people that necessarily don't look like you to actually make decisions about your child's education. Because like I said, government matters on all levels. When you're selling these bundles, government mandates that. You know what I'm saying? They mandate how you can, they mandate everything. They birth certificate, death certificate, all that is politics, like taxes, politics, like the shirt you wear from Fashion Nova, politics. Like politics is in your daily life. It was in the life of Jesus when he was on walking the earth. They was talking about, because they even questioned Jesus, should we pay taxes? But Jesus had to say, render unto Caesar, Caesar, render unto God, God. So don't act like you're not going to be affected by politics, because you are. Politics, it matters. It exists whether you want to get involved or not. You still going to be affected by these politicians that make these decisions about you. It's that's just me being real. Whatever.
I'm glad you said that. I wasn't going to address the last call. Like, we need to stop waiting for the government. No, we can do both. We can hold them accountable and
absolutely
make changes, and we can get out and vote, and we can go out and get it ourselves. But that is a horrible thing to
absolutely
tell
because
not to vote because it doesn't matter.
When you go out and get it yourself, and say if you into building houses, you still running into the government. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You can do both. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. And once you become entrepreneurs, they run into problems. A lot of Black entrepreneurs say, "Oh my God, the distribution is racist, and we have an issue." So they run. You know what I'm saying? Even our sisters and brothers that's into business, and that's why I say you still gotta have people on Capitol Hill advocating for your business on the state level, because these white organizations, these white corporations, guess what? They lay out a whole budget for people to speak about their interests. And Black entrepreneurs need to realize and say, we must have those same representatives that care about our business and our interests. We must do it. Look, I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said, look at how white people do stuff. They do a lot of great stuff. They're very organized. So learn from that. So I look at what white people be doing. I'm like, oh my God, they doing stuff like that. Oh, they got, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even know they had, what do they call them? Oh my gosh, I can't think of the word right now. They don't call them advocates. Who are those people that they hire to speak to their city representatives, to speak to their Congress, where they have these meetings and they speak about the behalf of the company, if they want to change the law. These corporations, they send these people, they pay these people big money. I can't think of the term right now. And I was just watching the documentary one day. I'm like, oh my gosh, but I didn't see too many Black corporations having people to speak for the lobbyists. I was watching something about lobbyists. I'm like, oh my gosh, like these lobbyists get money and they have these meetings. So I'm like, where's the Black lobbyists for reparations and stuff? So, I was just watching this stuff and I was just so intrigued. I'm like, oh my God, these lobbyists. I'm like, but do we have Black lobbyists that's speaking about reparations and speaking about the power of Black home ownership? Where's those lobbyists? Do they exist? Okay, and if not, how can I become a lobbyist to lobby for my people so they can get something from the table? So I was watching that years ago, and I had that conversation with myself, and so now I'm talking to y'all about it. But thank you, sis, for calling in. I don't want to hold you up because I know you're busy.
Thank you. Yes, because I don't know if you heard my caller. She's ready. I've been distracting her. I got to go do some homeschool. But thank you for giving me an opportunity.
No problem.
And can we do this like once a week or something? Like,
I think we have to do it more and more and more. And you're gonna be, like I said, you're gonna be seeing me on the ground, talking to like Democrats and talking to Republicans. You're gonna actually see me converse, because I wish I would have recorded myself. Last year I was talking to a Republican. I was renting this car, and it's a company that you can rent cars from, like private owners, and they put their cars up and you can rent them. So I rented this car from this guy. We was in Plano, or I think he was in Plano or Carrollton. It was one of the areas, a good white area. And I was just sitting down, talking about politics and the power. The man was so shocked at the gyms and the stuff that I was talking about. Because I was Black, and he thought, because I told him, he said, where you from? And I said, I'm from Inglewood, I'm from Chicago, the South. Said, oh my God, that area is so rough. Oh, the gay violence. And so I was telling him why it is the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And and we were talking about it, and I was saying, hey, I said, you live in Plano? He said, yeah. I said, just imagine if all your neighbors, including yourself, was to lose your job, get felonies, can't provide for your family. What do you think will happen? Your natural instinct is to survive. You're gonna do everything you have to do to feed your family. So just imagine people all in Plano lose their job and their houses, don't get any help from the government. This will turn into, quote unquote, the South Side of Chicago. It will turn into the hood. So when we speak about the hood, it's all what it is deprived of money, deprived of opportunities, deprived of homeowners, deprived of that. Because if you were to lose all of that in this area and people were to lose their house and foreclosure go up, the crime will go up. So and he was so shocked that I was bringing that point up. I mean, he said, you know what? I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with your point. I never looked at the problem like the way that you described it. I never looked at the problem of that. And we were having that conversation of that before I was renting my car. And we would have these conversations about politics. It's just amazing. So yeah, I just love talking about it. All right, 9867, you live on air.
Yeah, hi Wiley. Hey,
I think the name of the app. Hold on one second, Voice to New York. I think the app is called Toro. It's where you can rent car. And this man that I was able to rent a car from for and we having another conversation. He said, "Oh, I'm about to adopt a boy. I'm about to adopt a son in our family. We're doing that." And I said, you know, he was looking, and we just somehow just get on to credit and all of that. And I said, if I was your son, my idea of money would have been different. Like, you would have educated me about credit. We would have had these conversations. He's like, you're right. I would educate you on it. I would have taught you as a child how to do those things. And I said, the problem with a lot of African-American families and the problem with a lot of families, they don't have people in there to educate them about money, about the power of money. You know what I'm saying? About the power of home ownership, about stocks and bonds. I didn't start learning about that until I was in my mid-20s. I didn't even learn to mid-late 30s. I mean, mid-late 20s about stocks and some of this. It was like brand new to me. You know what I'm saying? It was all of it was just brand new to. I didn't know the power of paying off a car until I was in my late 20s. You know, I paid off my first car. The rest of them, you know, when I had a car, it would get repossessed. I didn't understand that could hurt your credit because I never had that conversation with nobody ever sit me to the side and said, hey, let's have that conversation. It was something that Snoop Dogg said. Give me a second. I'm gonna bring you into this. Roland Martin just posted on this page, and I want to echo this. Snoop Dogg wrote this on his Instagram. He said, I wish Black parents push financial literacy as much as they push religion. If we push financial literacy as much as we push religion, it will change the game for many African-American people. But go ahead. Now we got Voice in New York on. Go ahead, sis. I'm sorry.
Yes. So I know you mentioned a lot about housing and stuff, and I feel like a great video to help a lot of people is like knowing what HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge is all about. I know, like, we tend not to know what the hell is housing doing and things of that nature, but she came on an interview with the Breakfast Club recently, and it was very eye-opening of the type of benefits and stuff that are out there for new homeowners and things that they want to do. And we all know DJ Envy is all about real estate, so she asked him he asked her some provocative questions in regards to the real estate as well as the grants that are out there that I didn't even know was a thing. So I just want to bring that to a lot of people's attention, since I know people want to know about housing and home.
That's so true. You're exactly.
And it's kind of like we don't know what we don't know. And I know, you know, not even how much we push religion, but how much we push your son to be a rapper, a football or basketball player.
Because let's be clear,
thoughts into education than sports, we would have been very far along.
I forgot the name. We were speaking about real estate for a second. I forgot the name of the organization, but it's an organization that if you take these classes, you could become a homeowner. They will help you with no money down to become a homeowner. I forgot the name of the organization, but because I remember.
Are you on NACA?
It could be it because I remember a nurse. I was working at a job here in Texas, And she was like, I took these classes and I had got a fixer-upper house. And I was shocked. I'm like, what's the organization? And she told me the organization, and I just could not remember it for the life of me. And I saw her at Walmart, and she told me it again, and I still care. It just went in one ear after the other. But she was just telling us about every time in the lunchroom, she was just telling us, yeah, I took these classes, and they helped me get a house with no money down. And it was like a fixer-upper house that she was able to get. And so those its organizations and programs actually help you get houses. So yeah, that was something new for me to learn that I've learned. Yes, I forgot the name of the organization.
Yeah, the NACA is one organization, but I know a lot of people, real estate agents or depending where you are, hate working with NACA and a lot of people don't even know. Have a good NACA counselor. I know it depends on if you have like a good counselor or not. I mean, there's perks as well as not good perks, depending on where you are. And I think NACA stands for, if I can figure out, NACA stands for Neighborhood Assistant Corporation of America, and they help you with like the closing costs as well as the down payment and things of that nature. And I know in New York they have a lot of programs under HUD that can help you with, they can give you like a loan, or
yes, because it was a lady at the church I used to attend. She was on Section A, and they helped her get a place with the closing costs and helped her become a homeowner. So she was able to transition from Section A programming into becoming her homeowner. So those programs actually exist. I remember my mother; she was on low income housing. And it was a program they help her get her for free to get her CDL license and to do that. And so if you actually do the research and like you said, have a good counselor and good people at it, I mean, it's out there. It's definitely out there.
But isn't there a way? I mean, those who are in real estate, because I know I took classes, and this is where, if you know what you know, because I went to a very expensive undergraduate college. I went to HBCU, but it wasn't as expensive as it is today. But one of the things I was trying to do was hustle for like school or whatever. And I did take real estate classes. I just never got my license. And I regret it to this day because my thought was to flip houses in Atlanta, what have you, when it comes to me getting my real estate and pay for tuition at the same time. But I didn't know the ins and outs on how to do so. And that was back in like 2009 and 10, which was a perfect time to get into the market, because you can always rent out to, medical professionals, rent out to so many different things. Nowadays, it's kind of like tough because having a house is just more than having a house. You have to pay for property taxes. You got to pay for, like maybe your roof. And there's so much things that are involved in housing that people think is cheap, but it's really not cheap at all. But Wiley, I know what people used to do. I don't know if it's the same way where you are, but a lot of the people in New York City, they will find people who have liens on your property. And then I don't know how they're able to take over their house with little or no payment, but it was something that they did a lot. And that's how some of the affordable houses were able to get built too. And I even hate the term affordable housing because it's a way to not really be affordable to those people in that community. It's like they just use that to get tax breaks, but it's not affordable at all. But that's how a lot of people in Brooklyn has lost their home, because they didn't know they have like certain things on their house, and people came in and buy it or something like that, and they lost it. It was like something like there's gray areas within it, and New York gives people a lot
90
of
seconds
to get in, especially when de Blasio was there. That's why people hated de Blasio, because a lot of people got a lot of tax breaks when it comes to housing and building. So I mean, they build it so quickly. While you mentioned something earlier, and I find that very interesting. So I don't know if you remember this, but I think you mentioned like those people who grew up in an urban area, in an underserved area, and they were able to be successful. Do you think they should go back and live in that area, or they should just go and help out the best way they can?
I think
60 seconds.
If you become wealthy, right? It's a program that Jamal Green in Chicago started. It's My Turn to Own. He's helping Black people become homeowners, right? And a lot of them are becoming homeowners in their own community. If we invest in more programs like that, and people will start to become homeowners, you drive the property value up, and people will start to have community policing, will work with the police, because you want to protect your property. You know what I'm saying? because it's a different ball game once you become a homeowner. So if you like on Jay-Z level, Oprah Winfrey level, all of that, I do believe that they should bring some of their resources and help Black folks in these underserved communities to become homeowners, to go to nursing school, help them in their educational level, and also encourage them to invest back into their neighborhoods. That's what I believe. Because if you invest in these neighborhoods and people start becoming homeowners and start building and remodeling their homes, you would change the whole direction of your community. It will no longer be considered a low income area.
Oh, great. So you're thinking that those who already became successful, let's say they're physicians, they're nurses, and things of that nature, should they still live in their same community in which they have grown from?
Some do. It's some people that are nurses, are making good money, good income, that live in Inglewood, and that live in all of these, that live in those communities that's quote unquote considered low income. I believe that if you like a rapper, you know what I'm saying, if you have all of this wealth, you're gonna go what other wealthy people desire, because if you are just in a hood, you become a target. And that doesn't be me being real, especially if you are a public figure. But it's people that you would be surprised that make good money, that can live in good, well-off communities, but they desire to stay in their own community. It all depends on that individual. It's not no right or wrong answer. Just depending on where you want to live. Because if I was well-off, best believe I would live. I stay in my community with security, with the best security that money can buy. You know what I'm saying? So I most believe I'm gonna have my security when it comes to me, if I were to desire to stay in my neighborhood.
Fair enough, because it depends on the neighborhood you're staying into and how you want better opportunities for other people. But it's good to come back and help out on the ground foot as much as possible. Although you don't have to live there, because you already know the nuances of living there. And I also want to say this before, because I know you have people on the call waiting to get in. I think Uppity Negro it's on a hold. But my last point is, if there's something going on in Georgia in which this guy or someone is now drilling holes into people's cars and stealing their oil or their gas. So just be mindful in Georgia and be safe with your car, because that's something that's happening at a rampant amount. I'm like, what is happening? But people are now, because of the desperate times they're in, they're now drilling holes in people's cars and taking their oil, which is it's like, what is going on here? So just to make sure everyone is safe and sound and everything of that nature. So thank you, Wiley, for this discussion. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you really do run for something.
Thank you so
and
much.
you're able to visit that website.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you. Lovely Bree said, thank you, Wiley. I didn't know about these programs. Please have more of these discussions every couple of weeks or once a month. We'll do. We definitely will. Almost definitely. 2637, caller, you on the air.
Hey, Wiley. How are you?
All right.
Yeah, this is Uppity. What I was saying to the last caller, she's incorrect in some of her statements unless you're talking about home ownership. And for that one, I don't know too much details except that it's basically a ripoff if you don't make a certain income. In New York City, our standard of living is way higher than most cities. Much less most countries. Like, you will find somebody living in a project paying $1,000 a month just to live in a studio in a low income neighborhood. Everything, they go by your income, and they don't give that much allowance unless you have children. And even then, they still don't do you right. So as far as programs available in New York City, there are no such programs available anymore, unless you're in a shelter or you have been in some type of New York disaster. Like, you see how the building just went on fire, or if you live in a home, I'm guessing something else happened and which is tricky if you're in a home. And I guess with certain things New York City covers, certain things they don't. And plus in New York City is where you own the land that your house is on. So you may own the house, but you won't own the land. So that gets tricky with insurance too. So that's why I was saying, that's false information. There's no programs in New York City. Even if you get Section 8 in New York City and you take that Section 8, even upstate New York, you can't bring it back to New York City because the city is at a deficiency right now. They're overwhelmed with funds, and they have to keep up the high cost, and they're not going to make the high taxpayers take any cuts. So there's no programs available except maybe through housing, and you're still going to get screwed, especially if you're people of color. There are plenty of people that have specialties in these fields on YouTube, and they're giving you game for free. So you should really look into that if you're a homeowner. But if you are low income, and most people are in New York City, there are no programs unless you're in the shelter, or you're able to find affordable housing through what they have, an app called Housing Connect or something like that. That's for people who don't make a lot of money, but I'm pretty sure y'all know there's a real waiting list. And again, most of those Housing Connect programs, you have to go to Jersey. And once you go to Jersey, you got to pay 2 taxes. You got to pay New York City tax, and you got to pay Jersey tax. That's what they don't tell you. That's why they always pushing you to Jersey if you're in New York City and you're trying to apply for affordable housing and you're not in the shelter. The only way you're going to get affordable housing in New York City is to go through the shelter, unfortunately. And that's going to be another hard catch for you because, like I said, the city is underwhelmed. And that's the only thing I wanted to get through to y'all. And also, yes, we do. The reason the lobbyists, Black people have no lobbyists because Black people as a collective, we don't move as a unit. We have so many people infighting, and we're acting like we're the only people that have these infighting. All races, all cultures, everybody has these infights. But one thing they know how to do is stand together as a unit to make one message. So let's like the Asians came upon us. Like now trans men that are pretending to be women, they getting more rights than actual Black women.
Okay,
not white women.
But it also, I'm just Googling something right now, is the National Black Professional Lobbyist Association. They are committed to ensuring the state lobbying, government affairs, advocacy is diverse and inclusion. We strive to provide our members professional development, networking, membership, mentorship, opportunity with the national top industry leaders. So I don't know what that organization is all about. I just Googled it. I think there exists. What I'm saying here, I think it exists.
No, Wiley, no. What you're thinking, what you're saying is they exist. But what I'm trying to tell you is lobbyists get paid by the money.
Right.
They go where the money is.
Right.
So Black people have no organization. You know who we had? We had Obama. He sang what he did. He sang our cover songs to us. Before Obama, we had Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. What did they do? Sell us out.
I think that it is. I think we do have organizations that do have people that reflect and on these organizations. But I think that these organizations will.
Okay, well, you name one Black person in a political program who has fought for specifically Black people rights, because you got to realize these laws are getting passed for specific people. When Asian discrimination bill came out, now they got funding after Corona, right? Because they just got a discrimination bill in place for them.
What they just passed.
Now, gay people had gay discrimination laws placed in place for them. Now, what happens after the natural disasters or anything else? They get specific money allocated for them.
Right, but
what law has been placed? No, why? Let me finish my sentence. What law has been put in place specifically for Black people? ADS. Black people born in America that make that paves the way for all these people to get all these rights. What laws have been put into place for us? What reparations have we got on any level that nobody else can apply to? It's only for us, like every other group that came up behind us got. That's what I want to know.
I want
to know the name of the lobbyists that are doing that.
What I want to be clear. I want to be clear that it should be more bills that pass to help African American people. But the American Rescue Act, when it comes to our infrastructure and all of that, that will help a lot of Black businesses, right? It will help a lot of Black companies. And I hope, my prayer is that those Black companies get those grants to build those bridges and all of that as well. It could be better. This is why I am a huge advocate for decriminalizing marijuana, because that will help African American people. Making marijuana legal will help, as well as making sure African Americans get part of that. I'm 100%. I did love when Congress passed the Lynching Act, Emmett Till lynching bill, to make that a federal hate crime. That was great, and I hope it passed in the Senate and become law. But again, African Americans, we need laws that to target us, just like the Johnson administration when they did the Housing Act, when they did the Voters' Right Act. They need a president to make those laws in place that really help African American people, because we have. Let's not act like they have not done it before. They need to do it now in this generation. So that's why we saying to our president, you know, make sure you have laws to help your base and help Black people, because again, if Black people didn't vote for you when they got elected.
No, Wiley,
President
that's what
Trump,
I'm trying to tell you.
President
That
Trump,
never happened for us before. That never happened for us before. We only
Trump,
got equal rights. We're praising people for treating us equally. That's what we're celebrating decades later, years later, centuries later. These men did what they did in a time what they had to do. I want Black men, because I don't think it's Black women's job. I think Black men need to step it up and fight. Don't march, fight. You got to fight. They stepped it up so you could be able to fight for yourself, and you're not fighting. So you got to fight. I think gay men should be treated just as equally as straight men. I think straight men and gay men need to fight. If you want to fight in the dress, fight in the dress. That's not going to excuse you from the fight. Fight. So I'm going to drop down, Wiley. And like I said to you, there's never been a lobbyist on behalf of Black people. There have been people appointed to
that's not
Congress,
true. But that's not true.
Because they know they was going to be cooning around.
That's not true.
And
you have
and singing out.
You have. I understand your frustration, but that's just not accurate. You have the Congressional Black Caucus that advocate for African American people, that represent a lot, and they're actually the biggest. When you're talking about Black in Congress is the Congressional Black Caucus, and they have passed a lot of bills when you talk about reparation and all of that. But when you don't have a Senate to vote that in, you don't have that as law. So I want to, and what the Congressional Black Caucus should do. Hold on one second. Let me finish this up. Let me say this part. When the Congressional Black Caucus, what they need to do better of is marketing and promoting of the things that they have passed to help African American people. Let's be clear, they have passed a lot of bills that will help Black people. But when it get held in the Senate and the Senate say, no, they must do a better job promoting their wins. Because they're doing a lot. We must promote that. We have organizations, the NAACP, that need to promote that. So we do. So
my point.
No, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, we do have organizations. We do have people that do speak for Black people.
Of this law, Wiley, we are considered second-class citizens of this law. You think they passed this discrimination bill for Asians because they want us to be fair? Or do you think they passed this discrimination bill because they know they will wreak war on this country?
But that's not just targeted Asians. I think
they had nothing to do with no fairness to the law. The United States, every time they claim they're going to help somebody, they don't be. That's what they tell you. What they're really doing is they're sitting here taking over another brown country who can't fight back, just like they do to their brown residents over here. And what they do is they take poor Black people from this country and mixed people and poor white people, and they put them over the other country to pillage. And just like America is based on, we attack the weak. That's why, if you notice, a lot of American citizens, that's the only thing we all unite on, is attacking weak people within our own country and other countries. So the reason why Asians got a bill passed, it has nothing to do with the Senate, it's three judicials. It had nothing to do with not one of them. You know what they were scared of? Them coming over here attacking them. And they children going to be at risk because there's not a hole in the ground, because America is so nasty and so prejudiced. They only want to give education to certain people. See, the other countries, there's some certain countries, they know they're smarter. They build all their kids to be special and smart. So that way, when it comes to war, they could build some type of stuff we don't even know about, but they only want to educate a few. So we depending on certain people to build certain things to protect us. See, the other countries, they think smarter. America is very capitalistic. That's why everybody want to come here so they can send money back to their country, because they know they can come make a way. That's why America's fighting the borders harder than everything else, because they'd rather fight the borders than make their home country better. So Black people got to learn to do me first. Because that's what America is, a me first country. So we got to do me first, because we the only dummies still trying to include everybody. While everybody say, yeah, we on your back. And the minute we get those reparations set away centuries ago, what they do, they trample on our back and take it first and oppress us with our own rights that we fought for. Wake up. It's not the government, it's us. Let's get it together.
Right. And that's why we would say to our government officials to get involved and to make sure those laws are passed as well, because I don't care how many of us do for self, we're still going to need the government in some cases. When it comes to our brothers and sisters that's locked up for years, you're going to need government action to get involved, to get those people out. When you come to people that have felonies, you need laws to change to make sure that they'll be able to get jobs, to make sure that those people are able to get housing, because it hurts a lot of people if you have felonies. I know here in Texas, you can't, I don't think, rent an apartment with a felony. It's very difficult. So laws have to be changed on a federal, state, and your local level. So, but we do want to give credit to those that do advocate for African-American people. Like, again, I want to give credit to the NAACP for their legal defense fund, for them actually fighting. Hold on one second.
The NAACP just said that it doesn't stand for Black people, it stands for everybody.
Give me a second. You're not gonna let me finish my point. Finish my point. Okay. For actually having their lawyers to fight against these voter suppression bills, give them credit for that, because that again hurts so many people. Whether so many African American people are hurt by those voter suppression bills. So shout out to those lawyers for NAACP for doing so. Also shout out to Reverend Al Sharpton organization, the National Action Network, for actually having organization, having boots on the ground, actually advocating to get people in office, whether it's in New York, to change laws to help African American people. But again, this is going to come by a collective of us collectively getting involved and also supporting our leaders and supporting our representatives that's already in office that's doing a good job. But we must support them, and they must do a good job by promoting what they're doing. And that's why I have to go back to the Congressional Black Caucus. When it comes to that, they pass a lot of stuff, and people are like, oh, what about reparation? It's already a bill that the Congressional Black Caucus have already put into place, but they must promote that to the average viewer and to the average voter and to the average Black person, because they don't think, a lot of people think the Congressional Black Caucus don't do anything for Black people, and that's just not true. They do a lot. But again, they're going to need help by the state as well.
I used to work in the Chamber of Commerce of Manhattan, New York. You know that, right? My first job out of high school, because I was really into politics and I was raised to be pro-Black, Pan-African, and all of that stuff. And the same person that worked the Chamber of Commerce, which is Lloyd Williams, he's still in charge of it right now. So I got to see behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and all that. So that made me go further than what my parents taught me. So I wasn't one of those kids that was only brought to learn what they taught you in school. I was actually giving like Black history lessons at home, because they knew they wasn't going to teach it at school. But my parents was only as good as their education system. And like I said, they was raised during racist times. So what I did was I pivoted and used the resources that my ancestors fought so I can equally obtain, and did my own research, and I didn't depend on nothing. So my high school, they tried to cheat me out of my valedictorianship, because I challenged them the whole way with social studies. You know how your teachers give you, like when they say Christopher Columbus, I was one of those kids that's the reason why today these kids don't celebrate Christopher Columbus. They call it out. I was a part of that team, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other Black people part of that team who said Christopher Columbus didn't discover shit. Meanwhile, our ancestors, they couldn't say it without getting whipped. So the minute we could say it without getting whipped, and I didn't have to go through that traumatic say so. I said Christopher Columbus didn't study. No, he didn't find nothing nobody was sitting on because that don't make sense to me. You got to make it make sense to me. And if my teacher tried to give me a bad grade for telling the truth, my parents was going to the Board of Ed and we was going to take it to court. So they had no choice but to give me a grade based on the merit of the history that they don't give people that is in low-income areas. Even though I didn't go to a low-income school, I know other students that was in low-income schools and did the same thing. And I didn't teach them that. That's what their parents taught them. Like I said, going forward as a movement, we have to recognize that we cannot do the same thing and expect different results. Those people did what they did for the time that they had. We are under a different strain. We are under still strength, but we're not under the same restraint. We don't have to fight. We don't have to march. We can fight back. Black people fight each other about everything. Why can't we make a collective movement? And I think that Black people need many facets of each other. We need the people who can't fight but are book smart and going into politics, going into law, going into medical, going into law. And we had that already, but you know, we don't got people that they go there and they rest in their femininity, whether they men or women. And they satisfied because they think about themselves. And the little people who don't, they never get the support. Y'all support the Dr. Umars, Al Sharpton. No matter how many times they show y'all they not your friends. They only have their self-interest at heart. So Black people, number one, I think the women, because the women have been carrying Black people since the beginning of time. We literally birthed humanity. So what Black women have to do, number one, is check our own issues, clean out our own traumatic PST syndrome, stop being male identified, and we have to work on ourselves. I truly believe that's going to make a better nation. And if it don't make them a better nation, we can move forward and make our own. Like white women claimed they was going to do, but they knew they wasn't. They just used us. So Black women, we have to get together. I don't even, at this point, Black men have been so coddled, it's hard getting through to them. You know what I'm saying? Even when they become gay, they, men that want to wear dresses, they think they can fight you. That's why I'm convinced some of them put on dresses just to want to fight us. So, like I said, I'm going to drop that because my daughter she's starting her stuff. But I just wanted you to know that, Wiley, you have to go further than what they tell you in the media and what they're going to show you. You're going to have to do some deep research, and then you're going to see what's real, because it's all on history. It's all in history, and white men are never going to make a system that makes you equal or above them. It's not going to happen, and Black men have to come to that realization and fight. And if you're not going to fight, you got to accept your position. And Black women, you got to recognize it is what it is. And at this point, I'm pretty sure you see as soon as they get money, they rest in their femininity and white men culture. Bye.
All right. Well, thank y'all so very much for calling in. And I want to say this, is plenty organizations that help African-American people, that will continue to help African-American people. This is why we have to give shout outs to our traditional civil rights organizations, as well as Tamika Mallory organization, as well as we have, Roland Martin Unfiltered. He's into Black media spaces by showing the Black voices and showing people that is actually advocating for African-American people. So we do have people that are doing that job. And if you don't see it, then you become that change. You become that organization that you want to see. If you don't see people lobbying for Black people, then you get together and you get your brothers and sisters together and you start your own lobby to lobby for Black people. If you don't see, if you don't like what Al Sharpton is doing, then you go ahead and you create your own organization and you get people rally behind to help people. But we definitely want to give a special shout out for people for tuning in to the Wiley Show, for giving their points across. I definitely want to say special shout out to y'all. This was an amazing show going on 3 hours. I definitely want to say thank y'all so very much for the State of the Union address. Again, I want to say I wish our president would have put in there about marijuana, about decriminalizing that and also making it legal. I always post on my Twitter. I'll be tweeting my state reps. I'll be tweeting the people. I've been tweeting Cory Bush, all these people, like Senator Bernie Sanders, my senator here, Senator Ted Cruz. I'm like, cancel student loan debt. I don't care what we're talking about, because we're talking about something else. And I'm always going to say, cancel student loan debt. Like that needs to be canceled in this country. And also, when you cancel student loan debt, make sure that it can be off your credit. And, you know, put that in the bill as well to erase it off your credit report. So it will make sure your credit score go up and you don't have to worry about having that unnecessary debt. But I definitely want to say shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so very much for tuning in. I didn't think we was gonna have a 3-hour show, but y'all were definitely into this 3-hour show. Thank y'all so very much for this. This is amazing of y'all calling in. This is amazing for y'all giving y'all opinion. We've been on here for about 3 hours. This is definitely super amazing. I want to say shout out to y'all for calling in. This is definitely amazing. So if you missed this show, I don't know what to tell you. You missed actually a good show. So rewind it and play it back. Also, too, I'm still waiting on that stem player. I don't know what's going on. We ordered it like last week. Yeah, we ordered it last week, Thursday. So I don't know when it's going to come. It's been like a week. So I've been checking outside to make sure they brought it. Been checking my mailbox. Didn't receive it yet. I definitely been checking it when it comes to that. But this was amazing show. Amazing good show. Give me a second. I'm just reading y'all comments here. Thank y'all so very much. That's late. We will be back with another episode, but I definitely had to come out here and talk to y'all first. Thank y'all so very much. And if anybody else wanted to call in, do anybody else want to call in? Let me know before I go. I don't want to get no email saying you weren't able to call in. Let me make sure everybody was able to call in. Okay. Everybody was able to call in. Everybody get their point across. Because I don't want nobody to send me email somebody you weren't able to call in and give your point across. All right. Everybody was able to call in, right? Thank you. Everybody was able to call in. Thumbs up the video. Leave us a comment. Was everybody able to call in? All right. Thank y'all so very much. I'm going to come back because we got a lot more topics that we got to get into. We got a lot more things to get into. I did in the chat. Thank you. They said they keep asking about Ukraine. Oh my gosh. You know, we talked about that. Good brother. You better come back. Good show. All right. Thank y'all. And I'm going to come back because we got to do some more videos. Definitely got to do some more videos. So I will see y'all back in the next video. Thank y'all so very much. Make sure y'all thumbs up and subscribe. Peace.